Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk. Member of the MBK family. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Just Nick and His Show. For those that don't know, I am a huge Giant fan, and I'm a huge Jarrell supporter and diehard Giants live. I hope I got that right. I sometimes I got that right. Okay.
Yeah, you got that right.
The watch along tomorrow, halftime of the Giants show. I'm gonna be there. So I had to move the show to Wednesday night. Today we're talking position battles. Listen, we already know RJ Barrett is starting, so everybody relax. We already know Mitchell Robinson is starting. Everybody relax. Basically, what we're doing is we're just asking who would we think would be better starting and why? And it's not who's the better player, it's just what team would make the better starting lineup. So have a lot of fun today. Excuse my video, excuse my audio. One more show. Look at that. Did y'all hear that? Crackling. One more show down here in the rural area of Georgia, and I'll be back in New York with the crispy video. All right. Oh, and just a reminder, October 2nd on Nothing But Knicks channel, Queens Court will be returning for the season. October 2nd. The Giants play then too. I didn't even know the Giants play October 2nd, Monday night. So we'll probably go early. I'll run that by Sim. You usually go 8:30. We might go 6:30 because I gotta watch my Giants. Anyway, shout out to Jarrell who's here. Always appreciate you. And Eru joining us from Die Hard Knicks podcast. How you doing, Eru?
Chilling. From parts unknown.
Right.
Eru in the place.
Happy to be here again, Steph. Salute to the chat.
Yeah. Salute to the chat. David L, Dwayne Dennis, Edwin P, Sherwin, who said the best starting lineup is for the Knicks to make a trade. Just Knicks. Appreciate you, Just Knicks. Angel Torres, Mega, J Tap. Appreciate you. He's one of my Patreons as well. Appreciate you, J Tap. All right. So today we're talking position battle. I don't know why my mic is cutting out like that. Yeah. Bear with me today. and that's the most frustrating part because you could deal with a fuzzy video.
Right.
But the audio got to be on point because that is annoying as hell. So,
yeah, even if you cut your camera off, like we'd be fine as long as you can cut.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure with that.
It's not so dramatic though. You can hear it a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Over here, it's like click. Like,
when you run in the show and you got everything happen, the whole screen is burning down in front of you.
Right.
Nobody knows what you're going through on your side.
Right. Still sipping on that moonshine. Yeah, I'm in the rural South. I got to get my moonshine. Can you travel with moonshine in your car? That's not illegal, is it?
If you,
I want to bring some back. Yeah, I'm driving.
I mean, unless you plan on getting pulled over.
Yeah.
Believe I've done it, allegedly, but
just tell them it's cocoa butter. If they stop you, it's cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter, it's real loose. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into position battles, salute JJ. I want to talk about two things that's been on Twitter or some articles that I read. So basically, what do you make of Randle switching from CAA to WME? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, like I always talk about the Knicks having like relationship rostering, so I don't know. Like it just happened, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Like for him to leave CAA and with this organization, I mean, from the outside looking in, it might actually seem like he's going to get traded, or he knows he's going to get traded. Like worst case scenario, but I don't think anything is. I think he just didn't like CAA for some reason, and I don't want to put too much into it, even though I do believe in how the Knicks run their organization, and CAA is a big part of it, obviously. But I don't know, like maybe some time will go by, maybe if I hear something else, because I haven't heard anything negative from his camp on, compared to the Knicks. So I don't know, like it just came out of the blue. So I have no idea. I'm thinking it has nothing to do with the organization for now.
Okay. Okay. Hero, did you have any thoughts on it?
Well, the agent that he signed with is the agent that he had when he first came to CAA.
Oh,
That
okay.
that guy left. He went to what is it, WME? He went to
Okay.
WME and then he just followed him because that's his boy. That's
Okay.
somebody he's familiar with. That I looked up the agency too. That WME is like the first agency. They
Oh,
were
okay.
like covering people back when during the silent film age.
Hmm.
So they're like one of the first agencies. So it's a pretty prestigious agency. It's just that for sports and stuff is really CAA and the other one, the Rich Paul one. So it's still
Clutch. Yeah.
still it's still a very powerful agency.
Okay. All right. I thought maybe it was an early warning that there will be no discounts when it's time for me to get my my max
Yep,
contract. So,
that could be it too. Yep.
um, the other thing I want to discuss before we get into the position battles was the article. I don't know if either of you read it in Bleacher Report, where I forget the author, and after the show, I'll link it in the description. Said that they felt Grimes had the highest ceiling of the young players on the team, including RJ Barrett and including Emmanuel Quickly. I was a bit surprised about that, but agree or disagree? What's your thoughts on that?
See. I think maybe RJ, just because offensively with his jump shot, Quentin Grimes can be a little bit more versatile, on the offensive end, and he's a better defender than RJ. But I'm not totally sure about him being better than IQ yet. Maybe once I see, him be more assertive. But I mean, he has the size for the two guard position that IQ doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as long as he gets more assertive, like going forward, I mean, he definitely can be a better player than Quickly just because of his size alone, especially since they play the same position. But as of right now, I think Quickly is a better defender for his size, like him
Mm-hmm.
actually, going against point guards. But yeah, Quentin Grimes is way more versatile. He just has to be more assertive on offense. So I wouldn't say it yet. Like I'll have to see it. Like we'll see how this season goes
Mm-hmm.
going forward. But then, you know, he could be right. Like I wouldn't I wouldn't bet money on it, but I wouldn't be shocked either.
Yeah. Evo, any thoughts on that?
Uh, Quentin Grimes, but between Quentin Grimes and IQ starting.
No, no, no. Who the articles said Grimes had the highest ceiling on this team over RJ Barrett and over Emmanuel Quickly. You agree with that or not really?
Well, I mean, it depends on how these guys look at things. If you're talking about skill set, how guys can get better, I can see where they're going with that. Because just like Jarrell said, if Grimes was assertive, if he was just like assertive the way that that he should, for somebody that wants to be started in the NBA, then he would have the higher upside because he has face up game, defense and everything. He seems to be under control, very smart. No, just the defense alone, man. So I mean, but if he was just more aggressive on the offensive end, the stuff that he did in college and high school and stuff, those
Mhm.
mixtapes that he has are incredible in high school. So if we can get some of that now in the pros, then it wouldn't be a question. But it's up to him. These guys have their career in their hands. They gotta do something with this, man.
Right.
Yeah. This is a tough one because I'm really high on IQ.
Hmm.
Um, he has that moxie. He has that attitude you really need to have to succeed in the NBA. Um, and sometimes players with that go further than more talented players who don't have that, who you got to coax to take a shot and coax to, really get into the game. So this is a tough one for me. I don't know I don't know if I could say Grimes has a higher ceiling than Quickly. I think Quickly is underrated, um, particularly defense. And I will put
Yep.
the link to the article for those who haven't read it, the newsletter that I wrote, um, part of the countdown to training camp series where I previewed the Knicks guards, and I broke down Quickly and Grimes and DiVincenzo and Miles McBride. The advanced stats really support Emmanuel quickly.
Yep.
I'm not ready to say Grimes has a higher ceiling than quickly. I'm not ready
Right.
to say that. And to Eru's point, there's something to be said for having that dog in you.
Yep.
Particularly in this league. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have that dog,
It quickly got that dog in him from
Yep.
day
yeah,
one. Quickly has never been afraid of the moment, taking a shot.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's one thing he
Um,
does have.
yeah. And I
So
and I go ahead. Go ahead, Jerome.
I was just gonna say, so are we just automatically ruling like RJ in last place?
I don't.
'Cause-
I think I think RJ is nearing his ceiling in my opinion. I
Okay.
think these guys have a little bit more to go to their ceiling, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
What you
Yeah.
think, Jerome?
I don't know. Like that's hard too because all the assertiveness that Grimes need is in RJ right now. So like if Grimes actually played, had the mentality of RJ, he might be a completely different player. Like
For sure.
I wouldn't even view him the same. So I guess his ceiling, like you said, or both of you said, like his ceiling that determines a lot when it comes to where he can go. Like
Yeah.
if he can't have that RJ type of mentality, then no, he won't. He like his ceiling wouldn't be higher than both of them.
Yeah.
He's irrationally confident, RJ. Irrationally
Yeah.
confident,
Right.
Irrational.
Yeah.
Irrational, yeah.
Remember after that game, he shot terrible. And they asked him about his shot. He's like, "What's wrong with my shot?"
Nothing.
So yeah, and I think the same thing with quickly. If Grimes had the dog or the moxie or whatever you want to call it, the confidence of Emmanuel quickly, he would be a different player also.
Right.
Either one of those guys. Can you imagine Grimes with Quickly's demeanor?
Yeah.
Right. Or just to get it off Grimes real quick. Josh Hart, you might put in the same category too.
You don't think Josh Hart has that type of mentality?
Like because he can shoot, like he's passed up shots all the time, and it's not
Mm,
like he can't shoot. He can shoot, but I've seen him pass up way too many shots for me to
okay.
be putting him in that same RJ category. To be assertive,
Right.
trying to score the basketball. Like he needs some of that too.
Yeah, Josh Hart could
Right.
do it all. He can finish really strong at the basket. He has good
Mhm.
moves. He can spin in the lane. He can do everything. He floaters now,
Mhm.
jump shot, but he just refuses to shoot. He doesn't shoot enough, So it's
Right.
weird. Yeah, he has the confidence to do it, but it's weird that he just doesn't do it. It's weird.
Right. Do you think both Grimes and Hart are playing within themselves, like recognizing that who the main players on the team are, and just feeling like, that's not my role right now?
That's a good question. That could be it. I could see that, but when I don't know, what's the excuse when Julius Randle or um, Brunson isn't on the court?
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
I still see the same. I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it laziness on offense.
Reservation, they playing reserved
Right,
or
right. I can see that.
yeah, yeah,
I can see that.
yeah.
It's like
And
deer in
you're
the
right.
headlights kind of thing.
Right.
Like if you had a hamster, the hamster is always fighting to escape, and once they do escape, they stand there like, okay, what am I supposed to do now that I
Right,
escape? You
Right,
know?
right, right, right.
So that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, and Grimes played, not Grimes. Josh Hart plays with the second unit. So what's
right.
the excuse? You're not playing with Randall and Brunson. So that's a good point. Gerald B said it's a pecking order, and you're right. Um, you're right. But I think Grimes, even within that pecking order, I think he can be a little more assertive. But I get what you're saying, Gerard B. I agree. He can't just go out there taking people off the dribble, clearing out the side.
Right.
That's definitely not his role. But we'll see. We'll see this season. I definitely would like to see him. If he doesn't do anything else, can you handle the ball a little bit?
Mm.
He's the off guard,
I mean, we'll
Um,
see because Dante DiVincenzo ain't going nowhere.
yeah.
Like he can handle the ball. He'll take and he can play defense. So he'll take Grimes minutes rather, quote unquote quickly if he
Mhm.
doesn't be assertive enough because Dante DiVincenzo will let it go. Like he's not not saying that he's a mole or a gunner or anything like that,
Hmm.
but
Right.
when he shoots the ball, he's going to shoot the ball.
Right.
He lets that thing go quick, boy. Whew, like a gunshot, the way it comes
No,
off
Right.
his hand.
yeah,
And
he
also
opens
he's
it
a
up.
big time rebounder too. Don't forget about that.
Yep.
He is offensive and defensive rebounder for his position. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
And well, that's a good segue into the position battles. Let's just start right there with
Yep.
Grimes and DiVincenzo. And remember, to everybody in the chat, we're not asking who's the better player,
Hmm.
and we're not asking what Tom Thibodeau is going to do, because chances are Grimes is going to start. Chances are RJ Barrett is going to he's going to start, and chances are Mitchell Robinson is going to start. We're just asking ourselves, what would we do? What do we think would make the better starting lineup at the 2, 3, and 5 position? Because Brunson's position is rock solid and Randle's position is rock solid. There are no position battles right there. So yeah, let's start with that. Um, Grimes, DiVincenzo, who do you think would be better in that starting lineup, and why? Ira, we'll start with you, Jarrell, and then I'll chime in last.
Okay.
Well, the theme is aggressiveness. DiVincenzo, not necessarily that he's more aggressive. It's just that he's active. When he's out there, he's moving. He's moving. He'll run, make cuts. Same thing like Grimes does. Grimes does the same thing, but it's like it's like a little nuance that he has that's different than Grimes. So I mean, experience wise and all this other things. Yeah, I can't say that DiVincenzo will be the better starter over
Mhm.
Grimes because Grimes has been here. He's been playing good defense. I can't demote him for that. But I don't know. From I think there needs to be a shift. The same way like Brunson got here and it just changed the way we do things. I feel like there needs to be another shift where somebody else comes in here that still can that can take some more of the ball handling away from Julius and stuff. There's still like an option to score at the guard spot. Like when Julius doesn't have it and Brunson doesn't have it, the ball is dead. But if somebody else could just add a little spice to the mix, it would just open everything up. So
Right.
I'm thinking whoever does that in training camp, that's going to be the person that wins that out. Hopefully, Tom Thibodeau plays that way. He's stubborn. He already wrote it down on a napkin, and that's where he's going to go with. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope he really watches these guys and just really sees and trusts what he sees. And then makes a good decision.
Do you think it's already set in stone, Eru? I mean, none of us know, but is your guess that it's set in stone that Grimes is going to start, or do you think it is a training camp battle?
I don't know, because to me it would be a training camp battle, but Tom Thibodeau, like I said, that napkin is undefeated, man. He placed it, he wrote it in his Tom Thibodeau ink. That can't be destroyed. So you never know.
Yeah. Jarrell?
And I still have the Miami series stuck in my head,
Mm.
and how Jalen Brunson was pretty much by himself handling the basketball. So because of that, like, for a better fit, if that's the question, then Dante DiVincenzo probably right now is the better fit. But but I guess it depends on who's playing, or who are we playing, I should say. Um, we already talked about the assertiveness. Dante DiVincenzo doesn't have any qualms about letting the shot go. So, I mean, from a defensive standpoint, Grimes is probably a little more versatile. But
Mhm.
if we're just talking about him playing, or either one of them playing the two guard position, both of them can guard the two guard position rather well. It's just that I don't see Dante DiVincenzo being switched on, like,
Mhm.
wings or big, like Tibbs that have Grimes playing, Bam Adebayo. Like,
Mhm.
like we've seen that before. So
Giannis.
right, Giannis. Like, we've seen him switch off the MB before. So I don't. Donnie DiVincenzo would get killed by them just because of his size, just like Emmanuel quickly was. So Grimes is the more versatile defender, but I don't know. Like, the position battle, we might want to. I know it's about Grimes and Dante, but Grimes and RJ could be a position battle as well. Like, I would, with me, I would actually like to play RJ a lot less and have Grimes at the 3, since he is versatile enough to play the 3 position on defense. But, at the 2, Dante is probably better just because of the ball handling. Let's just say that.
Right. I thought about that too, Jarrell. A 3-guard lineup.
Yep.
That's spicy.
thought-
Woo!
I thought about that. That too, and it comes down to: are you in the camp that you need that height out there, or are you in the camp that you're willing to give up some height for a player who's going to rebound the position just as good as a traditional small forward, and who's a really good perimeter defender, though you're giving up some height, right? So that's interesting. Whether we start that way or not, I think we're going to see a lot of 3-guard lineups. There's just no way around it.
Yeah, I like
Without
that though. I really like that idea.
And Tibbs
3-guard
would do it too.
starting out that way.
It would hurt a lot of people's feelings, man. But listen, this guy RJ, we was talking about who's ceiling and stuff like that. I think RJ, I personally think that RJ can't get better. The only thing that can really happen to him is he can get polished, on the things that he does. So I mean, like, he could still get his 28 minutes, maybe 32 minutes. He could come off the bench, you know what I'm saying? But starting off with Julius and Mitchell Robinson and then 3 guards, that's something that could work. So especially if you're trying to get the ball out of Julius's hands and have it more in those 3 guards and let them rock and change the way that we do things, I think that could work really well.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we would it would help if we ran more with them instead of being undersized and a half court sets each time down the court, because then I don't think we're taking advantage of it as much as we could. But trust me, we're going to see it. There's just no way around it. We don't have a backup 4 at this point. I don't know if Roby is going to be in the rotation. I don't know if, what's his name, Nathan Knight is going to be in the rotation.
Right. Yeah.
So we're looking at, Josh Hart, who I have as a forward this season.
Yep.
Because, I don't think he's going to play the 2. He's going to be playing the 3 or the 4.
Right.
I hope it is a training camp battle. I'm with you, Eru. I hope that's not something that Tom Thibodeau has just written in stone, and just said, Grimes is going to start. Let them equal possessions, with that starting lineup and see how well the starting lineup is. He talks about how he keeps stats in practice and he knows how particular rotations play together, even if we don't see it in the game, in practice. So hopefully both of them are getting equal reps with that starting unit and let the chips fall where they may. Now, I agree with, I think it was JJ in the chat who said Grimes fits well. And somebody correct me because I'm not as familiar with DiVincenzo. I mean, I know of him. I've watched clips. I've read articles, but obviously I didn't watch him every single game. So I'm not as familiar with DiVincenzo. But Grimes fits great in the sense that he can play off of, he doesn't need the ball in his hand to be effective, right? Playing off of Brunson, playing off of Randle. He can just stand out there off the catch, get the pass, put it up. DiVincenzo is good off the, he shot very well off the catch with Golden State last season. Very well.
Right.
But some guys you feel like you're wasting them. If all they are a catch and shoot guy, you feel like you're just wasting their talent. So I guess the question I have to you, Jarrell and Eru, who are more familiar with him, and those in the chat, DiVincenzo in that starting lineup, just say if he was playing off of Brunson and Randle, would we be wasting him? Similar to if we put Quickly with them. I feel like we would be wasting Quickly, right? Because all he's doing is standing out there waiting for the ball so he could take a shot when he can do much more than that. Right. Is that similar to with DiVincenzo, or you think that really wouldn't be wasting him with those, starting him with those 2 guys?
I don't know about wasting him. I mean, we talked about pecking order earlier. Yeah, but because like if you think that Grimes could start taking people off the dribble, he would be wasted also. So I don't know. Like Dante DiVincenzo can definitely take people off the dribble and shoot off the dribble, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's a waste. No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the whole thing, if we traded for Donovan Mitchell, right? Would he be that guy, wasted in the corner? No, he would just be Donovan Mitchell next to Brunson. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I
That's
mean,
true.
that's what comes when we were talking about dog and stuff like that. If you got to read the room. That's the thing too. Like when you go into like even before training camp, you know what the deal is. You don't have to wait for Tom Thibodeau to tell you what's up. You know what the deal is. You can look at the roster just like we could and see who's there.
Right.
And say, listen, I got an opportunity here. You know what I'm saying? So you have to seize your opportunity. Like don't just go out there knowing that you could have this expanded game and just stand in the corner and wait for the ball to come to you. You have to make plays and make it happen to make the coach want to realize what he has out there rather than what he has on that paper, that he
Right.
won't change. So it's up to,
Right.
like, let's say if Quickly has ambition to be a starter or this, that, and the other, he needs to really get out there and take it. Same thing with Dante and these guys. If they have ambition to be that starter, they have to take it. They
Right.
can't just say, "Oh, Tom Thibodeau said I got to stand in the corner," like Obi. Oh, he just told me to stand in the corner. I'm not gonna do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So now he's got traded, and now he's like, all these like, he just posted something that irked me today with like the music in the background, talking about he's free and all kind of stuff. Man, you know, he had the opportunity here, but it's just that you have to take the opportunity.
Right.
Sometimes you have to take the bull by the horn. So hopefully these guys do that because we need somebody to separate themselves from the pack. Because right now we mentioned Grimes, we mentioned DiVincenzo, IQ, even Josh Hart, like Joel said.
Right.
What's the difference? The difference is somebody needs to make the difference in that group.
Right.
Yep. That's a very good point. Listen, I'm okay with either Grimes or DiVincenzo, but whoever is there has to handle the ball. Like if Grimes is not handling the ball, then I want DiVincenzo to start. If you can't handle the ball, if you don't feel comfortable handling the ball, or from what Tom Thibodeau's seen in practice, he doesn't want you to handle the ball, then nah, my preference would then you need to come off the bench. Because I feel like they keying on Brunson. They put taller guys on him. They put quicker guys on him. They put more physical guys on him. And yes, he's able to get to his spots, but that's a lot of work. You're doing that a lot of work before you even cross half court.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
so if you have somebody who's equally capable of bringing the ball up, that takes a lot of pressure off him. That helps keep him fresh. All right,
Yeah.
fine. You want to double me or whatever? I'll pass it to Grimes. Go ahead, bring it up. You know, and then teams will stop doing it because they know they have somebody else. Teams do it because they know Brunson is on an island by himself. These
Right.
guys either don't want to come back to him and bring the ball up, or was told not to do it. I'm not sure, what's going on, but we need another ball handler in that back court. If Grimes could do it, I'm all for Grimes starting. If he can't do it, you need to come off the bench. If you can't handle the ball, you can't. To me, I feel like you shouldn't be a starting NBA guard
Mhm.
if you can't bring the ball up the court.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe if you were all world and something else.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can't handle, but yeah. If you
Right.
can't, well, you can argue that he can't handle, but he's an all-world defender.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm thinking about maybe like, for example, like Tony Allen, somebody like that.
Mhm.
All world defender. I don't expect him to be bringing the ball up though.
Yeah.
He's
That's
6'4", 6'5", can play, versatile, multiple positions on the wing. Like one of the best wing defenders in the league, and he's only like 6'4", but he can't handle the ball. So unless you're somebody like that, then yeah, you should be able to, do that.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's Grimes?
Maybe in the future, not right now, but maybe in the future, because I don't know, like even the 3-guard lineup that we was talking about, I know a lot of people would think it's too small, but if the calling card for Grimes is his versatility on defense, how are we too small?
Right.
Like, what is he doing? Like, if you think he's a good defender, and you think he's probably the most versatile defender that we have, he should be able to play the 3 position on defense. If you don't think that, then he's not the defender then that we always say he is. Then
The versatile defender that we say he is.
right.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds
I
like we need
mean,
a trade, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you
that's
can't
a whole
have
other show, right?
like you can't have both. You can't say that like he's a very good versatile defender, but
Right.
he's too small to start at the 3. That doesn't really make sense.
Right.
Has to be one or the other.
Right. Well, they play him. He's played Butler. He's played
Right.
Paul George. He's played these taller wings. Listen, if they decided to go to start with a 3 guard lineup, I would be down.
Yeah.
I would be down with it. Um, okay, you're gonna, they may shoot over the top. Okay, but you can have a tall defender. They take one dribble to the left and still get their shot off. You don't have the lateral quickness to,
Right.
to move with them. So,
Yeah, this
either
NBA is so jacked up. We got like point guards guarding centers and stuff. Like,
on the
Porzingis,
switches. Yeah.
yeah, he wants to cross over a point guard at the top of the key. It's ridiculous in this NBA right now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with JJ now. You need floor spacers and defenders, especially next to Brunson. And that's what I mean when we're talking about these position battles. It's not whether DiVincenzo is better than Grimes or vice versa, is what's gonna make this starting lineup solid. What's going to hide their or decrease their limitations if there are any. And having somebody that can handle the ball in the backcourt, that helps us tremendously, in my opinion. Having, like JJ said, defenders on either side of Brunson, we definitely need that. Brunson tries hard. He's just not that guy, defensively.
Right.
Yeah.
And having shooters around Brunson and Randle is, in my opinion, the number one thing. And I don't want to get on my soapbox about how every time you talk about our offense, everybody's talking about ball movement, ball movement, ball movement. And I'm not arguing that. But the number one thing we need is improved shooting. That's the number one thing we need on our offense is improved shooting.
Right.
And so, hopefully with a 3 guard lineup, and again, I don't think this is going to happen, but I think we're better defensively, even if we're smaller.
Mhm.
And I think we're a better shooting team, even, with a 3 guard lineup.
Right. And I'm thinking even with the 3 guard lineup, that means IQ. So the 3 guard lineup is Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Grimes. So that leaves IQ and RJ coming off the bench, right?
And
Yeah.
and Josh Hart.
And
And
Josh
Josh
Or
Hart.
you
Hart.
or you can go Grimes at the 2, Josh Hart at the 3, but that doesn't give us the shooting
Right.
that we need. I was looking at the splits between Josh Hart when he was with Portland and with New York. Portland, he shot like 30%, like he was like a mini RJ over there with Portland from the 3-point line. But then when he came to the Knicks, he shot like 51% or 50% from three, which Josh Hart is going to show up next season,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
going to be a larger sample size. I don't know if he's that type of shooter.
Right.
I don't know. But what I do like about him at that 3 position is he's another one that's really strong for, being 6'5", and he can rebound that position.
Yep.
You're
Right.
going to get just as many rebounds from Josh Hart at that 3 position as you would get from probably any small forward in the league. So,
True.
but that the shooting wouldn't be as great.
Right.
We got too many guards because it gets goofy. Once you let's say Josh Hart and Grimes is the starters, right? And you
Mhm.
decide to bench RJ. He's coming off as a backup, forward. Now
Mhm.
now you have IQ and Dante in the backcourt. Like
Right.
and then who's the other person small forward coming off the bench for us? It gets weird. And then you have the other kid, Deuce McBride too. Where does he fit in all this? Then you got some of the other big men that we have. What's his name? All these other guys that we have, where do they fit? Hartenstein and Jericho Sims and stuff like that. Where did these guys fit in that mix?
True.
Yeah, I see those guys as situational. Like if somebody gets hurt, that's when they would, that's when they would play. But I agree, we do have a lot of guards. Gerald B said Hart is a bricklayer. I mean, we're gonna see Gerald B. Historically, he hasn't been a great shooter. He shot the lights out when he shot lights out when he came to the Knicks. I don't know if that's something he, worked on over the summer because he knows that, we take, I think, We take 40% of our shots at the rim, 30% in the mid range, and I think 30% from three, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. But you're right. I think DiVincenzo and Grimes would give us the best shooting in that starting lineup.
Right.
But final predictions in terms of who you would like to see. If I pinned you down and said, who do you want to see in that starting lineup between Grimes and DiVincenzo?
I'm going Dante.
Okay.
Just because of the ball handling aspect. But, I don't think there's a wrong answer though.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Because I can give you a whole big love story for every one of these guys. Why they
Right.
should start and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's weird. It's just a three spot. Like I really don't want RJ to be to be the three. He just annoys me. I mean, chances are he's probably going to start. And stuff like that. But I mean, it all just spells out like we need some kind of trade. We need a mix up some kind of way because we
Right.
have excess guys in the backcourt that could do the same thing, and we need another big another forward, not necessarily a big man, but a forward. So something's gotta give here.
Right. Like if you pin me down, Steph, and ask me who would start, Grimes or Dante, I would probably say both of them.
Right,
What if
right,
she
right,
starts
right,
tickling you?
right, right.
What if
Both
she
of
starts
them.
tickling you?
Both of them still, because no amount of tickling will want me to have RJ starting on this team anymore. To be honest,
Right,
like
right.
I'm just I'm not over RJ. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but yeah, we need something more out of that position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's a toss up. But I would give DiVincenzo the edge because of the ball handling. But if Grimes, feels comfortable handling the ball, then it's even more of a touch up. I mean, toss up.
Yeah.
Mega
I'm
NYK,
sorry.
yes.
Well, I
You
was gonna
got it.
say, it sounds like we're nitpicking with the guys and stuff, but it just shows that we all believe in these guys so much that that's why we're talking about them like this.
Yeah, yeah. I think both of them are going to be good for us this season.
Yeah.
And I think whoever doesn't start, they're going to have the room in that second unit to flourish. Actually, and I actually like a DiVincenzo quickly backcourt in that second unit because I feel like DiVincenzo can handle the ball some. I'm not saying he's a point guard, but he can handle the ball some and allow quickly to play off the ball and do his thing and not have to worry about setting others up, not have to worry about playmaking, just really concentrate on scoring. So I do like the potential of the possibility of a DiVincenzo quickly backcourt in that second unit. But I gotta do Mega NYK, I appreciate you. Show support, hit the like, comment, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that. But I gotta do my daily Brunson defense because people be trying to get on my guy. And sometimes I let it pass, and sometimes I just can't let it pass. This is my guy, Quiet Money. I love you, man. I met him at a couple of the NBK events the very first year that we started doing things. Nothing but respect. What FIBA showed y'all about Brunson? Listen, there is nothing an international tournament can tell me about Brunson after I watched him every single game for the Knicks and I watched him every game in the playoffs. FIBA can't tell me anything about him because I've seen him play in the league that he plays in, right? With the team that he plays with. So FIBA didn't tell me anything about Josh Hart. FIBA didn't tell me anything about Brunson. FIBA didn't tell me anything about RJ Barrett. I know RJ Barrett has the potential to knock down shots, the potential to pass. I watch these guys every single game. Well, what is a FIBA tournament, a 2-week tournament, going to tell me about any of those guys? Nothing but love, though. To you, Quiet Money. All right. Anything else on Grimes, DiVincenzo before we get to Barrett Hart?
Just real quick, the point that you made about Dante running point on the
Mhm.
second union. I mean, he was running a lot of point with Golden State, so he's done it before. Like I think he was their point guard coming off the bench for Stephen Curry. So I
Right.
think that's a nice fit. Like I could definitely see that backcourt between him and IQ together.
Yeah.
He came off the bench for Villanova too when they won the championship. He
Yep,
was coming off the bench, so
as a point guard. Yep, you're right.
Oh, he was. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's just not his natural position though. Like he's not a traditional point guard, but
Right.
he can play
But
it.
he can do it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, he's a
I mean,
baller. I like him, man. He has everything about him. He's just a good basketball player.
I think a lot of people are
right.
going to be pleasantly surprised. I think a lot of people just don't really know his game that well. A lot of Knicks fans haven't seen him play, that much, especially since he went to Golden State on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, and he's a Villanova guy, and maybe the reputation of those guys are overblown, but in terms of smarts, from what I understand, he has it. So I anticipate if he's the running a point in that second unit, he's going to make good decisions.
I think
You
that's what
know.
excites me the most about him, man. You just have another intellectual person on the court, somebody that you could trust. Somebody out there, whether he's playing or not, he's on the bench. It's just a smart guy out there that knows how to play. In the mix. So that's going to make our team better no matter what.
Right.
Yeah. 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 No doubt about it. Let's move on to Barrett versus Hart. Now, for those who joined us late, we're not saying that Hart is better than Barrett. Basically, and we're not saying that Barrett is not going to start. I believe Barrett is going to start no matter what we're talking about here.
Right.
Right? I
Exactly.
think he's going to start. I think we're just asking ourselves, who do we think is the better option at these positions that will make the team better? Remember, the Knicks had the fourth best offense in the league last year. But it wasn't because of our shooting. It was because of, different factors. So going into this season, how do we take it up, another level? So yeah, if you had to, Jarrell, we'll start with you, Eru, and then again, I'll go last again. Barrett, Hart, why not?
Yeah. Before we was talking about the 3 guard lineup, Josh Hart wasn't, the third guard that
He
I was
wasn't.
thinking about. So
Mhm,
yeah, I would definitely choose RJ over Josh Hart when it comes to starters.
mhm,
Finishing is a different story, but
mhm,
to start the game, yeah, I would go with RJ. Like he would. Yeah, I don't see Josh Hart starting at the 3. Like I don't think he's a starting 3 man in the NBA. Let's just
mhm.
say that. Even though he's a versatile defender like Grimes is, but I think Grimes is a better defender than Josh Hart is. It's just that Josh Hart has certain intangibles that you can't really. I don't know. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Like he's pretty much like the heart and soul of the Knicks right now,
Mhm.
especially
Mhm.
coming off the bench. And I would rather see him come off the bench as our 6 man, even though, IQ is our 6 man technically.
Mhm.
Both of them, you know, will represent coming off the bench well for us if they're, the 6/7th man, or both of them come in at the same time. Like Josh Hart's going to play a lot of minutes, but I would not put him in the starting lineup at the 3. No.
Right. Oh, and is that because you don't think that makes the starting lineup better, or do you think is it because it makes our bench better when he's playing with that second unit?
I don't think it makes our starting lineup better,
Okay.
especially from a ball handling aspect. Like Josh Hart, I
Mhm.
mean, I would say that RJ is a better ball handler than him,
Mhm.
and that's actually saying something. Like RJ, you know, he has history with having the ball in his hand. They tried to make a point guard when we first drafted him. So
Right.
yeah, Josh Hart, I don't see him handling. I don't want him to be my ball handler at all. Like I
Right.
even hate when he get the ball and on fast breaks he lead the break. I can't stand that. He's not a
Right.
good decision maker when he has the ball in his hands in that situation. And for that reason, I definitely wouldn't want him to start.
Right.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if he can go coast to coast, he's pretty good at that. But
Right.
if somebody cuts him off and now he has to make a decision, you're right.
Mm. all over
right,
the place.
right,
Arms are just flailing.
right,
The
right.
ball could end up in Tibbs' lap. Like, no. No.
That's how he gets frustrated too. He gets frustrated in those
Yep.
things. Yeah, and that kind of trickles downhill too.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Ebro?
So this is Hart and RJ. I feel the same way about that Jarrell said there. Hart. I don't want to be sacrilegious, but he kind of reminds me of Mason in the fact that you said that IQ is the sixth man, but then
Mhm.
Mason is also there too. Like Starks was the sixth man
Mhm.
before he became. What I'm saying, that Mason was also there too. And when Mason came in there, he came in there like to mess things up. He
Mhm.
came in there to back up Ewing and came in to back up Oakley. You didn't know what he was going to do. Ball handle, rebound, he was doing everything. That's the type of you just throw a wrench in the plan once you throw a Hard out there. So
Yeah.
Right.
he's a good intangible player to have. But like I agree with you, like to have him out there as your key guy, keying on him where he's gonna be making decisions and you're gonna be relying on him for major things like that. He's not a really good choice. So I mean, like somebody said, I forgot who it was, Knicks 100 or one of them said, because I was talking about how RG can't get better. I really don't think RG could get better. I mean, he's not gonna get a better handle all of a sudden. Not gonna start doing Nick Van Exel moves out of nowhere. He's not gonna start all of a sudden posting up like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar doing skyhooks. He's not gonna do that. What I think is that he has a certain skill set, so I think that he can just really get better in his skill set. So he's still getting better, but he's just getting better in what he does there. So with the polish and stuff. So I mean, if he could be a little bit more quicker with when he does things, and just understand that he's not Paul Pierce, somebody needs to let him know, listen, you're not Paul Pierce. You're
Right.
not
Right.
your favorite player from Toronto, what's his name? Um
DeMar DeRozan.
yeah, you're not DeMar DeRozan, fam. You know what I'm saying? You're RJ Barrett. Stay in your bag, polish it up, and now you can be that starter that we need. So that's the only thing I have to say about that, really.
Yeah, I would agree. I would start RJ, and I think to me that just speaks to what we need on this team.
Right.
But I would start RJ over Josh Hart. Um, I love Josh Hart. He's one of my favorite players on the team, but he's a glue guy. He's a utility guy. He's a do it all guy that you can plug in as a starter. If RJ was hurt, or depending on how a game is going, if you want to go to a three guard lineup, because I mean he's probably going to be the guy playing behind RJ as small forward.
Yep.
Right.
So I agree with that. As far as Barrett is concerned, and what I'm hoping for Barrett, I don't think he's going to be that catch and shoot guy. And this is what JJ was alluding to. On either side of Brunson, you really want not just on the other side of Brunson, on either side of Brunson, you want defenders.
Hmm.
But on this team and that starting lineup, our offense would be so much better if we had shooters around Brunson and Randle, because
Yep.
those guys really generate free looks. And I know people say, they don't pass the ball, but the Knicks were number one in open shots in the entire league. From 2 and 3 point land, the Knicks were number one in open shots. Now, was that because Randle and Brunson created those open shots, or was that because teams knew we couldn't shoot, so they just left us alone? Whatever it was, we were number one in open shots. If we're able to knock those shots down, we're going to be a better team. So yeah, in a perfect world, I would love for RJ to revert back to his second year in the league when I think he was like 40% from corner threes or something like that, or high 30s off the catch, because we need that. When those guys pass the ball out, I can't tell you how many times we miss an open shot.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going
Yep.
to be that, but from what I saw in FIBA and from what I saw in the playoffs, if his floor game stays like that, and by that meaning just being able to read the game and not having tunnel vision and making up your mind about what you're going to do, but read the game. That's what he's been doing. You drive, doesn't mean you have to go to the basket. Let the defense tell you what to do, whether you're going to go all the way to the basket or whether you're going to take a floater, God forbid, or whether you're going to pass it out to somebody, open in the corner. So if he can do that, I would be if he can continue to do that, I'll be super excited. I don't know if we can expect him to revert back to the defense he played in his first and second year. I think his body has changed so much. That lateral quickness is just not there, but that would be fantastic. Like if he became a defender at that 3 position, oh my, I would be super happy. So, we'll see, but I agree with the both of you. I would still choose, Barrett over Hart, but like we talked about earlier, if there was any potential to go to a 3-guard lineup, then Grimes, at that 3 position, I would do it.
Yeah.
RJ moved like a power forward.
He moves like a big woman, man, like my grandma sometimes. Man. Something's wrong with him. I think I always joking I need to measure his shins from his shins to his ankles. There's something wrong with it. He's like a freak or something.
He be out there looking like Clarence Witherspoon, man. Like he just look like
wow.
He always just looks slow. Like you said, since his second year, I don't know what it is because he didn't gain that much weight.
Right.
He looks completely different than he did when he first came into the league, though. But he came in the league when he was 19 years old, so that's going to happen with pretty much 99% of people will change after they're a teenager. So that actually makes sense. But yeah, for him, for that transition, you can still tell he's athletic, obviously, because he's an NBA basketball player. But he moves really slow. To be honest, he's not the same.
He's not the same. And so I was like, after the season, I'm like, maybe he'll revert back. I saw a picture of him in Duke. He was looking all wiry in the picture. I was like, yeah, okay, this is what we need. And I saw him in FIBA. He looked thicker. I said, all right, well.
We have to remember he was 17 in those Duke pictures.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I can't.
He looked strong, though. Yeah, he didn't look like a weak 17, though. He looked strong.
That's the reason why RJ was the man in high school. He was a man amongst boys. He was the strongest guard in the country. Yeah. So that, that's why he was killing everybody. Right. But, once that catches up to you when you get into the NBA, then, like I said, you can't blame him for his body changing because it's not like he's fat out there, but it just is what it is. He's not going to be the player that we thought he was going to be because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. In person, he looks fantastic, man. If you ever had a chance to see him up close, he looks fantastic.
Yep.
You know, and the plotting thing that he does out there kind of look like his legs. So he doesn't have that when you see him in person. So it just
maybe it's a TV thing. That TV put that 10 pounds on you.
Salute to Trav in the chat. He said he looked constipated out there.
He does. He looks like I don't know, man. Needs some citric magnesia or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see. I mean, I think the other thing with RJ, then we'll welcome Jeff in and get his opinion,
of course,
as well. I think I don't know if he's a good fit for Brunson and Randle. I just think that he's another one that needs the ball in his hands to be effective. He's not a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah.
He's not a catch and shoot guy. He needs the ball in his hand to be effective. However, in FIBA, he did both. He played off of Gilgeous Alexander, and when Shai would drive, he would be in the corner, spot up for the 3. And then there would also be times when he would, have the ball in his hands and he would drive and they would play off of him. But the Knicks, it just doesn't work that way on the Knicks. Well, I shouldn't say that because there are times when he'll get open shots off of Randle and Brunson. And there are also times when he'll have the ball in his hand to create. But whenever the ball is in his hand to create, he's going straight to the basket. He's not on FIBA. He had the ball in his hands. You didn't know what he was going to do. Was he going to go to the basket? Was he going to drive a little bit and hit one of his teammates? You didn't know. With the Knicks, when he had the ball, we already know what's about to happen. He's going straight to the basket. So hopefully that's changed.
Well, Jeff is here. I want Jeff to talk too, man. But you mentioned this that we led the league in missed shots and stuff like that. All these stats that you pull up, like we have access to it, but they have access to it too. So I
Yeah.
mean, they read the same info, so they don't think that okay, let's get us some shooters here, or like the year before I wanted to double down on what we did good, which was pounded down, other teams' throws. We was physical with them. So it would have been nice to double down on that to get some more guys in there, more skilled guys in there, and more physical guys to really compound what we do well. But every year it seems like we go away from a little bit from what we've done well the year before. So that first year we made the playoffs, second year we missed it, then we made the playoffs again. So I mean, is the trend now, since we went through and got more guards, instead of finding that shooter, and this, that, and the other, instead of filling those holes, the potential is there for us to fall back a few steps too. That would be scary.
Right.
But I just thought that I had to say that.
You may fall back in terms of our standings in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
possible.
possibility.
Yeah, because I mean, we were set with that lineup that we had. We had the shooter, in what's his name, Reggie Bullock and stuff like that. I mean, we needed a point guard, so there's certain things we need, but we ended up getting the guys that we got.
Right.
The Fournier and the other dude. We ended up getting
Kemba
two guys.
Walker.
Kemba Walker, and then we ended up losing. So this time around, did we necessarily need Dante DiVincenzo? Did we necessarily need? We kind of needed, like you said, we needed to get the shooter because we were like number third in the league of missed shots and stuff. So we needed a knockdown shooter. We didn't get that necessarily.
Right.
So
Right.
It's interesting.
And some length, but not just length to have length, but usable length, like length where you're getting something out of it. That would have definitely helped us at either the 3 or 4.
Or we could just say we need better players.
Yeah,
that's Keith Turner. Keith Turner. He'd be like, "Look, we y'all going all about all. We just need better players.
Yeah, we need better players. We need upgrades. That's all." Oh.
Yeah, you don't start
I'm a chill
with that. Jeff, welcome. How are you?
My man,
I'm
Jeff.
good.
Good, bro.
Sorry I'm late. Mama got tired and wanted to go to bed, so I was like, well, I'm stuck around to see Mom's. Mom's had a tough travel day flying from Tennessee to Texas, so she was going to call it a night. So I was like, okay, well, you have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. And I said, well, I know a place I can be.
Right.
Glad to have
Appreciate you hopping on. We were talking position battles, and we did Grimes, DiVincenzo, and right now we were doing Barrett, Hart. And the idea is not who's the better player or who is actually going to start, because I think RJ Barrett is going to start, but it's more about who do we think would make the starting lineup better. And so, you can chime in on Grimes, DiVincenzo if you want. But yeah, we was talking Barrett, Hart, if you had anything you wanted to add.
I actually like the lineup with Grimes and Quickly, but
we talked a 3-guard lineup. We talked about that.
I like that 3-guard lineup. And Grimes and Quickly are both such outstanding defenders, and Quickly plays so well off the ball. I just think that it does a lot of magical things for the Knicks. I think it would unlock some things offensively that we haven't really been able to do yet, because you add in another guy who's a better shooter and still has that ability to penetrate and attack off the bounce. But as far as Barrett's gonna start, but Hart's gonna finish a lot, because
That's a good point.
Hart's an efficient player. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's an efficient player inside the arc, and the rebounding numbers aren't close, and the defensive numbers aren't really that close, in my opinion, either. And so if you're talking about who's the best fit with the other guys to close the game, I just see Josh Hart being that guy, more so than I do with DiVincenzo. I think that Thibodeau likes Grimes or Quickly, either one, enough where I don't think that's a set in stone, with him. But, I think if RJ's playing well, RJ gets to close. If RJ's not playing well, have this seat next to Tom. It's nice and warm for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we talked about the 3-guard lineup, we didn't even talk about Quickly and Grimes. We were talking about DiVincenzo and Grimes. But what I like about Quickly and Grimes, Quickly playing with Brunson is any one of those guys can take it to you and put pressure on you in terms of getting into the key and creating shots for others, and Quickly can pay off the ball. I was surprised when I was going through the stats that he was better shooting the 3 off the catch than off the dribble. Because I always thought, every time you see him, he's off the dribble. Not every
Off the
time.
dribble shot's just a tougher shot, though. I think most people,
Mhm.
I could be wrong about that, but I think if you look at the stats of most people, they're going to be better because I just think it's a more difficult shot off the dribble 3 than
Yeah, a
just
little more movement. Yeah, yeah.
because you got to get the ball in the shooting pocket, and and that's a skill. Whereas if you're just catching the ball and releasing, if you're doing it right, you're catching it where it's already in the shooting pocket.
Mhm.
You're bringing it right there. That's what Trent Tucker always said. When he, they asked him why he was such a great shooter, and he's like, well, because I make sure that before I catch the pass, that my hands are where I need them to be to shoot and release it quickly. And man, could he shoot.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it wasn't like over the top, but I think it was 35 off the dribble and like 37 or 38 maybe off the off the catch. I expect Quickly to be better out the gate. I think his numbers were low because he got off to a bad start, but I don't anticipate that happening.
Not in a contract year.
That too. I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, that too.
I would just like to make a point that when we was talking about the 3-guard lineup, the only reason I didn't say Quickly is because we was talking about Grimes versus Dante. I would actually like Quickly to be our starting 2-guard though. Yeah. If that 3-guard lineup is like that, I would rather have Brunson, IQ, and Grimes, and then have Dante and RJ and Hart coming off the bench.
Yeah, I like that.
Because we'd be a better defensive team then, and a better shooting team,
and a better shooting team. Yeah, for sure. Brooklyn Butch said Brunson, DiVincenzo, Quickly, Randle, Mitch. Oh, okay. Best scoring lineup and most versatile. So it would have that would have, I don't know about the ball handlers in that second unit though, even though one of these guys would have to play with the second unit anyway if we're going with a 9-man with a 9-man rotation. Anything else, Jeff? Did you want to comment on the Grimes DiVincenzo or?
That's tough because DiVincenzo is a knockdown shooter too. I don't know his defensive prowess as well, just because I haven't seen him as much.
Right. Me either.
So, from that aspect, I don't know if he can do the same things that Grimes can do defensively, but he certainly has a little bit of backup point guard in his game from what I've seen too. More so, I think he's more of an attacker than Grimes. I think they're roughly about the same as far as shooting from deep is concerned. So I don't think you have a worry there.
He was a little better last year. He was in the 40s last year.
I just really like Grimes with that starting unit. Is he the best 2-guard we have? No, but I just think that the fit with him in there is really good. And I think if I had my druthers, if you have him and Quickly, because I think they're really good perimeter defenders, and that covers up a lot of Jalen's issues, on the defensive end. And you're always clamoring for another ball handler, to put alongside to ease the pressure on Jalen and not make him work as hard. Well, you have Quickly in the lineup. He certainly is capable of doing that. even more so, I think, than what Grimes does. I mean, we haven't really seen that from Grimes so far in his career. That's not to say that he can't ever do that, but
Right.
from what we've seen, I don't really think that that's his game right now.
Right.
You know, and I like RJ with the second unit because I think he gets more shots. Like, I think you can make him more of a focal point. You know, a lot of what you said, what rings true about fit. I think, well, if he's the guy in the second unit, then you don't have to worry about fit. You just, watch him go, so to speak. Let him do his thing. Let him be, the FIBA version of himself, for lack of a better phrase.
Right.
Just let him go out there and do his thing with the second unit, and his defensive assignment's not going to be as bad in the second unit. Because you're playing a second unit players, and he's also going to be able to take advantage of second unit players better, because I don't think you're going to have the same strength and size and quickness in that second unit that you would have, in most starting lineups anyway. I mean, I'd still probably have him dribble back to the half court line and, but, I don't, that's just his thing. You got to get up that head of steam so he can run over you like a bull.
Yeah. For sure. He'll be in that second year. It'll be him and Quickly, because trust me, Quickly ain't stepping to the side. But he'll have a better chance. Yeah, he'll have a better chance in that second unit of getting some more shots up than with Brunson and
I think Quickly's a better player than Barrett, so I don't mind Quickly getting more touches. That's like, I think one of the major flaws in the Knicks last year was that Barrett touched the ball too often. It's a percentages league, like Eru was saying. We don't have a lot of great shooters to begin with. Why does it make a lot of sense to give 19 shots to the least efficient player on your team? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I really think he made an outstanding point there, and so I'm not saying he can't be better or more efficient, but even if he improves his efficiency, I still think it's probably one of the worst people to be taking the shot of anybody on the court. And, I guess it doesn't hurt us as bad because Mitch and Hart are excellent offensive rebounders, but, and that I guess that's part of where they come in. But, we have, especially with DiVincheco and Hart, I think everybody that we have on the team it's better for them to have usage than RJ. And I guess that makes me a hater or whatever, but just from an efficiency standpoint, I just don't see, I don't see the reason to give him more than, 8 to 10 touches a game.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's now I'm just looking at Knicks 100. He's been getting at us the whole thing here. He's like, RJ's the number one pick. Why are we doing that to him? What's going on here? But we're looking at it from a basketball thing. What's going to work as far as basketball? Not saying that RJ's not better than this person or that person, but we're just trying to find how we can get the most out of this roster. Like the 3-guard lineup, we all agree it just would open things up so much more, man. And then now you have RJ coming off the bench. Now you can kind of sort of feature him a little bit, make him come off the screens, go beeline to the basket. Now we have shooters. Yeah, Dante. If Dante's going to be the backup, Dante's over there. You got Josh Hart with him. He has people to pass to. If you feature him off the bench, and that works a little bit better. And then once you start incorporating the starting lineup back into that, now you can start to feel out who's going to be your closers for that particular game. So that's all it really is. We I think we have respect for all these guys, but we just trying to figure out how we can get the most out of like a 8-man rotation, to make this team good,
And as far as being the 3rd overall pick, that's a sunk cost. We already paid it. It doesn't matter if you got picked 3rd overall or late 2nd round. The only thing that matters is his performance on the court today. How he's playing now is what matters, not when he got drafted. Darko Milicic, got drafted before Carmelo Anthony. That doesn't mean that he needed to be on the floor, for extended periods of time, because the guy just couldn't play. and I'm not saying that, don't misconstrue. I'm not saying that RJ Barrett is as bad as Darko, because I don't believe that. I think his ability to get to the rim, even though he doesn't finish well, is a skill that he has at an elite level, and it's not one that's necessarily abundant in the NBA, or not as much so as some people think. Like, to have someone who can attack like he is capable of, that is definitely a worthwhile skill. But if he doesn't add the finishing to it, then it's kind of a hollow skill.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I think, if we don't go to a 3-guard lineup, we just gotta have to deal with it. I think the issue is RJ Barrett is not a good shooter.
Right.
And that starting lineup, we need, to me, I just feel like that's the next, that takes our offense to the next level. Guys who can shoot the basketball. When I'm watching the Liberty, shout out to the Liberty who beat the Washington. What I was about to say, the Wizards, the Washington Mystics. In an overtime thriller yesterday. Great game. We got the seafoam green going for the Liberty. But you look at that team, everybody in that starting lineup is a threat. Everybody in that starting lineup can shoot the ball. That makes it super hard on the defense to key on anybody. And, I would love that for the Knicks, but you got to have somebody at every position, that's a shooting threat, and we just don't have that. And that makes us a little easier to guard,
Yeah, I say that all the time. I was so jealous watching Denver play basketball during the playoffs.
Right.
They had a whole starting five can shoot the three.
Right.
Or shoot, period, in general.
Right.
Like, it was wonderful to watch. Like, we're not used to that. Like,
right.
So.
And then everybody had Hart too. That's another thing too. They all could shoot it, but they all brought it. Everybody brought it out there. Whoever he put out there, especially that young kid that they had coming off the bench, the small forward guy that they had. I can't think of his name. Yeah, the young kid, man. He was kicking ass, man. But they were getting production from everybody. Whoever they put in, they were just like, So I would love to get to that point too. That's how when a team is really, there, when everybody's just not afraid, the offense is kicking, now all they got to do is play. And that's a very dangerous place to be.
Yeah. No doubt. But listen, we're all hopeful that everybody is going to come into training camp and be better, that their shots are going to be better. Because if we can get that down, forget it. We rebound, if I'm correct, 31% of our missed shots. So if we're shooting better, there'll be less of them, but we'll still rebound 31% of our missed shot. That makes for a really good team. So we shall see. All right. Any other questions? Comments on Grimes, DiVincheco, Barrett, Hart, 3-guard lineups before we go to Robinson, Hartenstein?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do Robinson, Hartenstein. Keep in mind, we're not asking who's the best player. We're not asking who's going to start. I think Mitch is going to start. What we're asking ourselves is, who do we think will make the starting lineup better? All right. Jeff, we'll start with you. Crisscross over to Jarrell, and then come down to Eru.
Well, who I'm going to say makes the starting lineup better. I'm the Mitchell Robinson fan club, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. But I like iHeart too. I just think that Mitch Rob is a better defender. And I think he fits well, as opposed to where Barrett doesn't really fit. I think Mitch does, because he doesn't require any usage, despite what he says. He'll have that complaint, I'm just doing cardio or whatever, but you're not going to give him usage because he doesn't need it. And we have a lot of guys who do need usage. And so I really think I love his defense. I think a lot of what he does doesn't appear on the stat sheets. And I just think that when he's out there, Hartenstein is a good shot blocker, but people are more hesitant to drive the lane when Robinson is in there because they know he's back there and he's got that reputation as a good shot blocker. And there's just something about that makes them think twice, and that little hesitation and when you hesitate, you're lost, and so sometimes I think that's an advantage that Robinson has over Hartenstein. But I really, and this is as a Robinson fan, I really think it's 1A and 1B. I think you can start either player and you're going to be fine. I think you can close with either player and you're going to be fine. I think it really depends on matchups. I think there are certain cases where I'd rather have a guy like Hartenstein out there who, moves the ball a little better. You can put him at the elbow and he can distribute a little bit. Sometimes that's a useful skill to have. And then at other times, I think there are just matchups where you need that rim protection and that defense. And then Mitchell Robinson is your guy in that scenario. But I really think that they're very interchangeable. And I think the big difference is that Hart's more durable. I think Hartenstein played 82 games last year, and he had an injury, but he played through it, and that's pretty impressive. And so I think that what I'd like to see is 24 minutes a game from each of them. Just split the time. And depending on matchups, or if Mitch has it going on a particular night and you want to go with him, that's fine, or vice versa. But just be able to play it by ear. They're very similar players in a lot of ways. They're both excellent offensive rebounders. They're both good shot blockers. Hartenstein has that little push floater that I like, and I'd like to be honest. I like that little 8 to 10 footer that he just kind of it ain't pretty, but he gets it in there. So that's all that matters from that standpoint. But Robinson, I think is underutilized in that I think he's an extremely good lob threat, and we don't have a lot of guys who are good lob passers. So that's certainly not a strength of Jalen Brunson's. Actually, I think RJ Barrett, probably of all the players that we have on the team, is maybe the best one at seeing and catching Mitch on the lob. I'd have to check the tape on that to be sure, but that's just kind of the gut feeling that I have. But I think it's all state. You're in good hands either way.
Yeah. Joel?
I totally agree with Jeff when it comes to the minutes distribution. I think it should be split right down the middle. It pretty much was almost split down the middle last year, wasn't it? Or at least
I think it was 26-22, maybe 28-20, but
right. So that makes sense. Maybe give Hart, a couple more minutes. But as a fit standpoint, probably Mitch should start and Hart come off the bench. But the way that I would like to use Hart is not the same way Tibbs likes to use him. Like, I actually like the ball in his hands and him doing a little bit of playmaking, but you could tell that Tibbs doesn't really feel comfortable with him doing that yet. So, if he was that type of player, I would definitely want him on the bench then, because we don't really need that from him with the starting lineup. Not with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle,
right?
There, like we was talking about Grimes being a waste offensively if he actually was more assertive. It would definitely be a waste if we had a center that can do stuff like that, because he wouldn't get the ball. So so maybe with the better fit because of Brunson, I would say Mitch, but I totally agree with Jeff that it should pretty much be split down the middle. Like, I'll start Mitch most nights, obviously, and I will finish with Hart most nights because he's a little better. Not saying that he's knocking down shots left and right, but he's a little better shooter from the free throw line, and he can just handle the ball better. So I would like him to finish games, but Mitch start.
Yeah. Ero?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, you got to start Mitch. You know, just simple fact that we have him on the roster. I have a lot of issues with Mitch. I'm trying not to ruin the show with that. You know, but the same thing with RJ. I was saying RJ needs to polish, right? You know, right now RJ is going to be entering what is fifth year in the NBA. RJ, I'm not sure, but I know for sure Mitchell Robinson is going into a 6 year. Like Jesus, geez Louise, like the guy can't make a layup. You know, like he tries to dunk everything. Well, a lot of times, if he would just turn around and just lay it up, it would just change everything. His problem, like when you watch, there's a video out now him shooting free throws. You know, they just changed the angle of him. Now he's with his lead hand, so it
Mhm.
looks a little bit better. But he's still, just throwing it up there as fast as he could throw it up there. No rhythm, no rhyme or reason to do anything. And I think that's the major gripe that I have with him is just that he just like a lot of times when we need him to like let's say when he has it going, the defense and the rebounding, it looks fantastic. He looks unstoppable. But then there's times where teams are like negating that, and he has to revert to like fundamentals and stuff like that. He doesn't have that, so that makes him useless a lot of times. So I mean, iHeart comes in and he just fits in the pieces and stuff. But I'm with you with the A1, AB. I mean 1A. I mean 1A 1B thing. But Trav Ryan, he mentioned Jericho Sims. I think if we had Jericho Sims in the mix, let's say if somebody got hurt, like I said, Mitchell Roberts got hurt like he always does, Jericho Sims can come in there and he could be the backup center or start same way. One guy
Yeah.
provides a certain thing, and then the other guy provides the next one, and then you can change how you want to do things according to what's going on with the game. So without
Right.
being disrespectful to Mitchell Robinson, because like I said, sometimes like he looks like unstoppable. He looks like damn. He's like totally like dictating everything that we're doing out there, even though he's not really passing or nothing like that. It just seems like he is, just the way that he's dominating the paint. But then, like I said, sometimes he just disappears, and then he doesn't have the fundamentals to clean up that thing. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, long story short, Mitchell Robinson, he's got to start, and then but more 9 times out of 10, probably iHeart will finish games.
Yeah.
Real quick, funny thing
Mhm.
about that video, Ebru was talking about the free throw. They put out a video of Mitch shooting. He still shot like 60% in the video.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
thinking that too.
like, why did they
Well,
put out a video of him actually missing like 3 or 4 of them when he took like 9 or 10? Like, I didn't really get that. Like, what the hell are y'all doing?
You know what drives me crazy? Because like when you're teaching somebody how to shoot, especially free throws, you need them to be consistent. Find a rhythm, and you have to be consistent in your routine. This guy,
Right.
he has like no routine, but to add insult to injury, the person that's coaching him is not even rebounding properly. He just getting a rebound, slapping it to him. Not even looking at him, not even saying nothing to him. He just throwing shots up there, and the coach is just slapping the rebound back to him, not even verbally saying anything to him or stopping him. If I was the coach, I would have been stopped him. Like, listen, man, like we need to get a rhythm going here. You have good form. You know what I'm saying? We need to get a little bit more rhythm, because you can't just get the ball and just throw it up. Get the ball, just throw it up like that. It's like, get yourself together and let's get some uniformity here. You know what I'm saying? But even the coach that's coaching him doesn't have any uniformity in what he's doing there. So that just irks me so bad, man. So, I just wish that he was in better hands in the off
Right.
season. You know,
Right.
I was thinking the only reason, and like the only reason that he will be doing that, like just going up there and shooting it real fast, maybe they're just working on form. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? They just like, you just have to shoot it this way, and then they'll backtrack, and then, actually him hitting them. But other than that, yeah, that didn't make any sense.
yeah, that's fair, because I mean it's only like a quick video, so you can react
Right.
all you want, to it. But
Right.
we don't know what else they're doing. That they just
Yeah.
videotaped it. Maybe the guy that is not really photogenic. He doesn't want to be on camera. But he just video. So that's why he was doing that. But the little things like that, it just. Oh man, I wish he could like. I wish he could like let me drive his truck or something like that. Hang out with him so I could give him my opinion about certain things.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever we saw, or at least I've seen videos of, like, I've never seen Mitchell Robinson other than the time he worked out with Randle, and that's another player. I never saw him work out with like a trainer or another, NBA player. It's always just in the gym, and maybe he is, and they're just not taping those sessions. Like you see, who is that? Grimes with Penny Hardaway, and then you see IQ with what's his name? Mahul. What's his name?
Mahmoud.
Say that again.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf,
Yes, right.
Chris Jackson.
Yeah.
Christian, right for LSU. I would love to see Mitchell Robinson with Rick Smith. I don't even care.
Rick
I don't even care.
Somebody.
Just somebody who played in the.
Yeah,
Somebody not Othello Harrington.
that was super rare. Yeah, as long as it's not Othello Harrington. Salute to Jay Book, man. Oh my
Yo,
god.
Jeff, I actually saw him work with Othello Harrington. You know, I went to a game with Anthony MSG, and you know he has the shoot around thing where you get to watch the shoot around. So I'm watching it. So everyone else is excited. Oh, look at this guy! Look at this guy! I'm sitting in my seat like what is going on here with Othello Harrington teaching Mitchell Robinson? Because I mean, even Mitchell Robinson, I mean, Othello Harrington, they were working on like give and go drills, like you know, like he would just give him the ball, and then Mitchell Robinson had to explode to the rim and make a layup. But it was like so goofy. He wasn't verbally talking to him, and Mitchell Robinson would kind of just was like doing like you know fooling around, throwing that layup. It's like, what is that? You know, because like you have like at the professional level, you have to practice like stuff that you're gonna do in the games, and you know to use it as a you know a comparison. This guy Grimes, he had a personal trainer with him too, but I'd never seen a guy take that many 3-pointers in any point in my life. He shot so many 3-pointers in that little 15 minutes that he was there. It was unbelievable, you know. But those are the shots that he's gonna take in games. You know, but Mitchell Robinson was in there fooling around, just throwing, you know, getting the ball and throwing the ball up like that. It's like, you know, what's going on here? You know, so I mean, you know, they just not Mitchell Robinson. I don't think is taking his position, you know, the way that he should. I don't think the Knicks are really, you know, putting any value into it either. You know, because I mean, they hired Othello Harrington for Christ's sake. Like, why would they? You know, I don't know.
Honestly, I think Ebru's right. It seemed like the Knicks don't care either.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that ain't their job to get him better though.
Word up.
Like he needs to do that himself. Like Mitch has a career, so he should be hiring his own trainers. He should be going to his own camps and stuff like that. The Knicks,
Spend that $50K and get a weekend with Hakeem.
see, I think that'll be wasted on. Like, don't get me wrong, he should do it, but
yeah,
I don't see him. Like, I think
know what you mean.
Yeah, he needs to go to somebody else first, then go to Kareem. Because he can't possibly do anything that Kareem could do, not footwork wise. Like Kareem can't teach him that in a week. He need more than 50K. Like, he's not gonna teach that in a week. No, hell no.
Did you see what Gilbert Arenas had to say about Kareem though? He said, "Oh, he hasn't been in the league forever. He hasn't played in this, that, and the other." But I mean, through his ranting, he does make a point. Is just that the NBA at this time there's no Hakeem Olajuwon. So to teach somebody all these moves, like the coaches are not going to use them that way because they just don't use big men like that anymore.
Right, time has changed. Like he had it's just the way that he said it. I mean, it was a little bit.
You know, Gilbert Arenas is crazy, man.
He definitely had some points that he was correcting some stuff, but people our age don't want to hear that.
Right. It was Hakeem, not Kareem. Hakeem.
Yeah, Hakeem. Right.
Hakeem.
Dream is dream. So we're gonna always, want our players to do stuff that he did.
Yeah. Stafford said maybe he can't afford it. Like he can't afford not to do it.
Man, you see his truck? I mentioned his truck. He keeps adding stuff to his truck, man. He could afford it. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. But this is what I'll say about Mitchell Robinson. Forget the scoring. I just don't forget the scoring. But what I would another thing I would like is that he's just comfortable handling the ball.
Right.
Like when he gets the ball, that he turns to the basket, he can see cutters. He gets I just feel like when he gets the ball, I don't feel like he's comfortable with the ball in his hands. Like he just can't wait for that dribble handoff. Yep. And that's all they have him doing. And I don't know if that's because they're limiting him or because he just doesn't feel comfortable with the ball in his hand to be able to just move it as a regular part of the offense. So I definitely agree with the three of you. I would start Mitchell Robinson. Defensively, mostly I think he still presents issues for us offensively. The Knicks do not shoot well at the rim, and you can argue that part of it is that Mitch's man is boom, right there. You know, so that creates problems for us, and it creates problems for us more so in my opinion, in the playoffs when teams will be able to really game plan with that. But in the regular season, yeah, we need Mitch in the starting lineup because we got Brunson, at point guard, and we got, RJ Barrett at shooting guard. I mean, at small forward. And then we got Randle, who can be a very good on ball defender when he chooses to be, but he doesn't choose to be often, right? So defensively, we need him there. And also, Mitch is a part of the formula for this, fourth rank offense, and that's, second chance points. Hartenstein can give us that as well, but the difference between the two of them is that Mitch can finish, when he gets that offensive rebound, and Hartenstein, most times when he gets it, he just passes it out and he gives us another opportunity at the basket, which is great. But Mitch can convert, right? But in a perfect world, the entire starting lineup would be revamped. With a center with a little more offensive skills, and still, even if their defense is not as great as Mitch, and it's let's say their defense is Hartenstein's level. If you got a defenders at the 2 position and the 3 position, I don't know if you need a rim protector like Mitch if we had that type of starting lineup. But given the way it is right now, yeah, I do think, Mitch is the best choice right now. I do like the fact that we have a Hartenstein. So in situations in the play, and we did this in Miami, there was games in which Hartenstein played more than Mitch. And it was just great that we had that option when teams are game planning, for us. Knowing that, Mitch is not, great on the offensive end, that we can put Hartenstein in. So that was actually a good move by the Knicks. We was talking earlier. Do they read the stats? They have to read the stats too. So I think that was a good move. I think that's probably the reason why they brought Hartenstein in, just for those occasions. So yeah, Robinson will start. And like you said, Jeff, the minutes will be split maybe down the middle, or it'll just be based on matchups. I'm not expecting Mitchell Robinson to get better offensively, but I would like to see Hartenstein get better offensively. Now, how much of that is him? How much of that is this, him
Can I ask a question?
giving the green light?
I'm trying to process what Eru said because I think it's such a good point. Do you think that they're so laissez-faire with Mitch's development because the end game is Joel Embiid to them?
I wonder, Giannis too. There's reports that we're just gonna trash this season and wait till next all season so we can try to get Giannis. So it's like, makes you wonder.
Mitch been here 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years, bro.
So I
Longest
don't
tenured Knick.
I don't know.
My youngest son was still drinking Infamil 6 years ago. My kid is like in 2nd grade now. So it's it's crazy how time flies like that.
That's true.
No doubt.
Can I throw this at you? What do you think about the potential of, like, let's say, since we're talking about centers, like to move Julius to center, have RJ as a power forward with Josh Hart as small forward with Brunson and DiVincenzo? What do you think about all that nonsense I just said?
What?
Somebody other than Hart, though. I think Hart and RJ in the same lineup, like that's just the Flintstone Bam Bam unit right there, in terms of shooting. So if you got RJ in there power forward, which I like, Eru, give me like Quickly and Grimes. That's a really small team though.
Yeah.
Do you mean
Julius is a 3-point shooter, so he would, from the 3. So I mean from the center, so that would change the look.
Do you mean would we do that, or do we think Tibbs would do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lineup that could happen just for the simple fact that we just have the players to put it together. But
because I
is
don't
there
mind.
something?
I don't mind playing Randle at the small ball 5, but it doesn't seem like Tibbs like to do that at all.
Right.
Because even you could tell that with Obi's tenure here, because he could have did that plenty of times. Like it was kind of natural for him to do that, and he decided not to do that. So I don't think Tibbs will ever do that, but I would do that though. I actually like Randle as a small ball 5.
But I think the difference this time is the 4s, whether you put Josh Hart at the 4, whether you put RJ Barrett at the 4, they're better rebounders than Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
So maybe he would feel a bit more comfortable. I don't think he'll do it either, but maybe he'll feel a little more comfortable. Like, all right, I'm giving up rim protection, but I'm not going to give up defensive rebounding as well.
But I'm saying that he didn't do that. Like he didn't have to not do that because Obi was on the bench though. Obi could have still just been on the bench. RJ and Josh Hart was still there
on the
so
team.
Yeah, right. So he could have still did that, and he decided not to.
Right.
Like for me, I think that's actually smart to put Randle at the 5 sometimes, depending on who you're playing. Obviously, it's situational, but yeah, he didn't do that, and maybe he'll do it this year. It might be another little wrinkle. Tibbs has put in something new every year that he's been here. To be honest, we say that he doesn't do adjustments and stuff, but he's adjusted pretty much every season that he's been here. Just little small stuff though, especially lineup wise. It was some stuff that he did last year that he did not do 2 years ago.
Yeah,
at all. Like he has set like it was like hockey. Like a whole line was coming in at one time. Like he had a whole starting 4 or 5 to come in. Like what 8 after 8 minutes in the first quarter, who was coming in.
Yeah,
right.
So
yeah, like Steph said, we were like 3rd in offense. You said last year,
3rd or 4th in offense,
something like that, close to it.
Yeah. So you got to give him credit for that a little bit.
Yeah,
I just don't see him. Go ahead. Sorry. I just don't see him abandoning the rim protection. I mean, for whatever reason, like it or hate it, that just seems to be like one of his like 4 pillars of his house. Like that's like you pull that out of there, he's afraid the whole roof's gonna collapse. I think it's a good idea, Eru. I just not one we're ever gonna see. I would probably. I'm not a wagering person, but I would probably bet money that we never see that lineup.
Yeah.
And Randle is not 6'10". He's 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, something like that.
So he would. I mean, I understand small ball center, but that's small ball center.
With really small guards and forwards, because we don't have Randall's our only legit sized 4 really that's worth playing on the court anyway. So if he's out there at the 5, that means we're all the way small.
Right. And that said Alonzo Mourning was the same size as Randle. He dropped 50 on pack. Wasn't he?
Nah, he was 6'10".
He was 6'10", 6'10", wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was 6'10", 6'11".
He just looked short compared to all the other big ass centers that was in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like everybody else was over 7 foot tall, like Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. Like all of them was tall. Like all of them, like
Jack,
he just looked short. Right. All of them was 7 foot and up. So
yeah.
Let me get to the super chat. And shout out to Paris Doug. Appreciate you, Paris, always supporting the show, whether we agree or not. I appreciate you showing up and supporting the show.
Word.
Hart isn't better than RJ, but he plays off ball better with ball dominant guys like Brunson and Randle. They got to separate Randle and RJ for RJ to shine. Yeah, I think shout out to Ron from Still Knick fans in the chat. I think he mentioned that as well. But listen, RJ plays with the second unit. That's an opportunity to shine as well.
But that was just another dig at Julius Randle from Paris.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He wants to get rid of Randle so RJ can shine, like in the starting lineup. That's what he mean. I'm guessing.
Okay.
No, I'm confirming, man. That was definitely like a little thing.
Okay. JJ Steph, what do you think of Buddy Hield? He's on the trade market. You know what? I was surprised when they said Buddy Hield has just been in the league 7 years. I thought he's been around forever. He's been in the league just 7 years. I just feel like we have so many Buddy Hills. Well, I shouldn't say that. We have so many guys that play that position. Buddy Hill is a next level shooter. But I just feel like we have a lot of guys that play that position. I would love to have a knockdown shooter, because you got to ask yourself, are you playing around as far as winning the championship and taking the next step or not? Because if you're not playing around and you're really serious about taking the next step next season, Buddy Hield is your guy.
Yeah.
He's only been in the league 7 years, and he is a knockdown, he's a knockdown shooter. Now you got defensive problems. It's going to be, listen, Denver had defensive problems. you know,
also had Joker,
but not just the Joker. They had other guys that can shoot, as well. So I mean, Joker, he's not a good defender. But the point, what Denver was able to do, it's really about net rating. The better your offense is, then your defense doesn't have to be so great.
Yeah.
My question is, how is Buddy Hield that much different than Evan Fournier?
He's a better shooter He's a better shooter than Evan Fournier.
Right.
No doubt about it. And I get the defensive part, but sometimes we got this. First of all, the Knicks weren't even that great defensively last year. They were ranked 19th. So it's not like we had this juggernaut defensive team. We didn't. But they turned it up in the playoffs for sure. I just think I'm okay giving up a little offense, a little defense for a little more offense. I think if we're really serious about winning a championship and taking the next step, you can't do it with a lot of young guys who still need to grow and come into their own. And I'm not taking anything away from them. That's part of their process. But I feel like Randle, and some people will argue no, but I feel like Randle and Brunson are there, and I think the other guys aren't.
Has Buddy Hield ever been to the playoffs, though?
He hasn't, but you don't think Buddy Hield in a playoff situation you think he would fade like Grimes faded?
I have no idea, but I don't think it's a 100% guarantee that he's going to be good either. I mean, that was only my point. He could be good, but we have no idea because he doesn't have a playoff track record.
I would take chances. I would take the chance.
What I'm going to say is, if we're going to be adding someone to this team, I want it to be someone with playoff experience, who we know what we're getting come the big game. Because if we're just relying, I mean, he's not anymore. He's less experienced than the young guys that we have now, as far as playoff games are concerned.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Like the couple bad things with Buddy Hield, even though he is a very, very good 3-point shooter. I just looked at some of his stats. Like, he shot like 42% last year, and I think he's a career 40%.
47, right? What I mean, let me just not say the wrong thing. Yeah, 40%. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like career 40%. He's shooting like 8 of them a game. So, like, the volume
is there.
The volume is there. The only thing, though, even though he has been in the league for 7 years, no playoff experience, just like Jeff said. He's an old 7 years, though. Like, it's not like he came like he was a one and done. Like, he was like a 4th year senior. Like, I think Buddy Hield got to be like almost 30, if he's not 30 already.
Yeah, he's 30 already.
So
he came into the league when he was 24.
Right. So he was old. He was an older rookie when he came in. So he might be a little bit past his prime. But,
at 30?
Yeah, like to prime to me is pretty like 27 to 30. Like, I'm talking about like he could be at the tail end. Mm-hmm. But to that point, like, we only got like a 2-year window anyway.
Right.
So I can see pros and cons for getting Buddy Hield. It just depends on how you want to structure the team.
Right. Well, whether it's Buddy Hield or not, I feel like if the Knicks are really serious about winning a championship, you're not going to do it with 3 and 4 young guys.
Right.
I just don't think so. I think you need to upgrade the positions, and you need to get guys who have NBA experience. Even if they don't have playoff experience, They have NBA experience. They've been through, they've been through it. So I'm not saying I would go out and get Buddy Hield if the Knicks did it, I wouldn't be mad. But the major point I'm trying to make is we got to get a little older, in my opinion, if we're really serious about winning a championship. And that showed in the playoffs, last season. We're like nursing guys. We got the top of the roster who seem to be ready, and Brunson and Randle. And then we got other guys at the bottom of the roster, younger guys that we're kind of nursing along, and they need another 2 years in the playoffs to get their feet wet. When Brunson and Randle, if they had the right players around them, they're ready right now, in my opinion. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like we're the youngest team in the playoffs. Like I bring that up almost every show. So we was the youngest team in the playoffs. Like traditionally, like everybody that knows that watch basketball, that's not like a good combination to win championships. Like young teams don't win championships.
Right.
Yeah, but most championship teams have a good mix though. They got
Right.
their vets, they got the super vets, and then they got some young guys too that can
Right.
help out. So the Knicks
Right.
don't too top heavy when it comes to the young players, like Steph was saying.
Yeah. And when you look at these championship teams, if they have a young player, they may have 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have 3 and 4 and 5,
And they coming
in
off
the
the
rotation.
bench. And those
And
young
they're
players
they're coming off the bench. They're coming off the bench.
And then also too, we classify a lot of our young players like RJ, like he got 5 years. Mitch Robinson is young, but he got 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Other players, teams around the league, they don't consider them young players anymore. Those guys are just the guys. They're
Right.
not
That's
young
true.
players.
Then you can argue they're just not good enough then. But I was talking more like Grimes and Quickly. But you're right. You're 5th and 6th year in the league. I don't know if you can say, they're still, young. I mean, they're
Well,
still young, but you know what I mean? Like
So say
first,
like
2nd, 3-year players.
right. Well, say like Grimes. Grimes is kind of old too. He's like what 24 or whatever. But regardless of that, like would you sacrifice a Grimes to get like say like a Buddy Hield or something like that? Not necessarily him per se,
would-
but just like
I would trade some of 1 or 2 of our younger players, and I'm not necessarily talking about Buddy Hield, for a veteran player who's been in the league and been through the paces, who I don't see, like, what's his name? Hart. He's been in the league, 6 years? This was his first time in the playoffs. It didn't look like it, particularly in that Cleveland series. So even if it's your first time in the playoffs, I think if you've been in the league 6, 7 years and you've played at a high level, I mean, I would think that, you'll be able to handle it. However we do it, I just feel like we need some not old players, but 26, 27, 20, guys who've been in the league 5, 6, 7 years.
Prime
If
players. Players in
yeah,
their prime years.
yeah,
Yeah.
if we're
That we don't have
serious
a lot of.
about if you're serious about winning a championship.
And it's not like Buddy Hield would be like the last piece. He's just a piece. Like
Right.
nobody expect Buddy Hield to be Tracy McGrady when he come over.
Nah, we're
You know
gonna
what
still
I'm
need
saying?
that.
So, yeah, we still going to need like other stars to go with him. That's just the first upgrade that we would get.
Right.
Like getting Buddy Hield is not going to win us a championship either.
No.
But you have to have step 1 to get to step 2. Like we have to start from somewhere.
Right. It's me. Maybe RJ would finish better, guys, if Mitch Guy wasn't sitting in the paint. I mean, I think that is a factor. I don't know if that can account for 100% for RJ missing at the rim, but I do think it's a factor. I have a serious question for everybody. Do you think we can win a championship with Brunson, Grimes, RJ, Randle, and Mitchell Robinson? Yeah.
Come on, Keith.
No,
I don't-
question, because we fight about that all the time, all over the internet,
I would say even if Randle, and I believe we're going to see this next playoffs, becomes the guy he is in the regular season, to me, RJ and like you just can't have guys that can't. At least RJ is a threat on the offensive end, even if he's not a shooting threat. I just think that lineup is a bit clunky, in my opinion. So I would say no. I think you can win it with Randle, Brunson, and then some other combination. We would have to fix it. We'd have to fix it.
Randle, Brunson, and 3 upgrades.
Yeah, Randall Brunson and
Yeah, like it all always comes down to this team needs to be upgraded.
yeah.
That's all.
But
For
I
us
think you can
teams,
do it with Randle, Brunson, and 2 upgrades.
I think it depends on those 2 upgrades.
Right, but what I'm saying is I don't think you necessarily have to have like well, let's just put it this way. If we improve the 5 spot and we improve the 3 spot, let's just say we bring in OG Anunoby and we make a trade for Joel Embiid. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh,
Yeah, I got you.
Just to put a couple names. Then I think if you had Brunson, Grimes, and Randle, yeah, that would work, and you only upgraded the 2 spots.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Gave me a tingle. Got a little tingle, you know, because I mean something like that is possible. Yeah. You know, we at the cusp, man. We at the point right now where, like, you know, like how could we get better? We're talking about everything, man. It's great conversation, but we're just throwing all the chips out there. Like we really need a trade, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, and like we're like literally at the cusp of whether or not we're gonna graduate into that championship level, you know, and then we also at the cusp of falling back too, man. So it's an interesting time to, you know, in our history right now, you know.
Right.
And sometimes you make the trade for the star and you don't take the next step. See the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
Yeah. It's I don't know if Murray was a star, but I get what you're saying. It happened when Kyrie Irving went to Boston. There's no guarantees, but I still think it's a risk you take. If you do have an opportunity to bring in a star. But you're right. There's no guarantee it's going to work out.
Sometimes you do too much. I think the Knicks throughout the history has always done too much. Like when you know, we went to the finals, not to the finals, but we beat up Jordan with X-Man and those guys. And then the following year we had an entirely different roster. Everybody was gone, the whole different roster. And then fast forward a couple more years, we just smoked the whole roster again. You know, like we like doing too much, you know, sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
Or not enough.
Well, not enough too, yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the
Like,
Melo.
are we doing too much now or not enough?
Right. What we do after Melo?
Right.
Not enough.
Well,
Not
we
enough.
did things. We didn't do smart things and good things, but we did plenty of things. I mean, you want to talk about all transactions? It was the revolving door at J.C. Penney's as far as people coming in and out of that place. But it wasn't any good, most of it.
Right.
And then amnesting Chauncey Billups still makes my head explode.
Yeah.
So many things, man.
So
That's a
many
beautiful thing about being like an older fan, because we can look back. If we really want to, we could sit back with like a bottle of like, you know, with your favorite whiskey and just be like, God, man, remember when the Knicks did this? Like, yeah, man. Oh, my God, I forgot about that.
Remember when McDice came and blew up his knee in like 24 hours?
Yeah.
Lord help me.
Nothing is worse to me than Andrea Bargnani.
Oh, I wasn't even going to go there. That still gives me nightmares.
Yeah.
We gained our first round pick for Andrea Bargnani. Yeah.
Yeah. And remember when we were like, nah, we ain't giving up a first round pick for Lowry. Nah, we gave up one for Bargnani. I don't think look what happened with Lowry. We could have really used him. Anyway.
The Knicks needed a point guard for like as long as I can remember. We had 2 of them, Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland.
At the same time.
At the same time, I cried like a baby when Rod Strickland left the team. When we traded him for Mo Cheeks, I'm like, isn't Mo Cheeks old? And he retired the next year. I'm like, you know, that was the beginning of the end there, man. You know, I was locked into the box scores and trying to figure out why do they do these things. You know, that gave birth to the whole crazy Knick fan. Yeah,
we got rid of both of them.
Crazy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Knicks and bruises. Remember when Tony used to do that series and he would interview us when that was a therapy session right there. He gonna have to bring that back.
Yep.
Quiet money. Grimes will start because there isn't another guard on the team that can defend the way he does. I mean, listen, if we're talking about his positional versatility, I think him and Josh Hart, you're right. They can Grimes can guard 1, 2, and 3. And Hart can probably do 1 through, we'll see
4.
about 4. We'll see about 4. He could probably do that. But when we're talking about just on ball defense, come on now. Quickly is just as good.
Yeah.
If
Ones
not
and
better.
twos and help defense wise.
If not better, guarding his position. So I don't want to confuse, giving him somebody to edge because they can guard more positions. When Quickly is guarding his guy,
Right.
he's one of the best. He's one of
They're
the best.
just different defenders, though. It's hard to compare them because they
Right.
both do what they do extraordinarily well, but what they bring to the table is not the same thing. And so it's
Right.
kind of like, I always used to say, people say, well, who's the best NBA player you ever saw? Well, we talk about guards, we talk about centers, we talk about forwards. The positions are different. It's hard to say, well, this guy's better than this guy. They don't do the same things on the court.
Mhm.
And that's why Magic, because he could play all 5,
Right.
was usually my answer.
Right.
Yeah, that's why Magic Johnson, when we had the conversation about everybody's favorite players, Magic Johnson was on everybody's list.
Yeah, he was.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
He was. Keith Turner, Desmond Bain came into the league with that mentality. That's something you either got it or you don't. This was back to when we were talking about
Yeah.
Quentin Grimes, and him developing that dog. So Keith, he's saying you either got it or you don't.
Dylan Brooks came in with it too, though.
Yeah.
But he's
That's
from
a
the
good
same
question.
town as
Can you
RJ, right?
develop it?
And he from the same town as RJ, irrationally confident in that town.
Right. I'm the type of person, to answer your questions, I'm the type of person that think you can't
develop it.
Nah, you either have it or you don't.
I think it's like court IQ. I think that's another skill that doesn't you either have the court vision, you either see the game or you don't. That's not something you really learn. In my opinion, I don't think that's something you learn how to do. I mean, I've seen some players, all the talent in the world, just don't have a clue on the court. And then you have the guy who doesn't have any athleticism, but always in the right spot, always making the right play. It's like, well, Josh Hart, he says, what was it said about him? Is he gets the 70-30 or 30-70 balls,
Right.
Right. He just knows where to be and he wants it more than other people. I mean, that's just,
Right. And
that's
he rebounds in traffic.
And that's why I say that, because you can't make somebody want something.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter. There's no drill for it. You can't make somebody want something.
That's like in football. You don't want those low motor players. They're almost always bust. That's one of the things you always want to see about it. Well, what about his motor? If there's questions about his motor, hard pass. I don't care who it is. I don't care how much talent they have. If there's motor questions, is a hard pass for me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Keith Turner wants to know, if Giannis was available in a trade, would you include Brunson? I'd rather not, because not that I think Brunson is better than Giannis. He's not. But I would like those two guys to play together.
Right.
So now you got Giannis, Randle, RJ, and Quickly. I don't know if we're better. Though you can argue that, you can bring them in the door and then go out and get a point guard. Though the Knicks have had trouble with that over the years.
Go trade for Donovan Mitchell then.
Yeah.
Yep.
To me, I just see Brunson as the cornerstone of the Knicks, and just who you're going to get to who can you bring in to play with him?
And also to that point, Randle and Giannis doesn't sound like it's a great fit basketball wise to me anyway. Not that Randle's not a great player. I just don't know how well those two would mesh together on the court, and it might make a lot of sense to move Randle in that scenario. Assuming he's not in the trade to begin with, which we might have to send him there to make it happen. I don't know, but and then maybe move Randle somewhere else to get a 3, that we're always clamoring for. Those athletic 3s who actually can play both ways.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hit the like button. I don't have the other screen open because y'all know my condition. I might just disappear. So I don't know how many likes we have or don't have, but we have 100 watching the show. If you're near your like button, please hit the like button. It definitely supports the channel. Anything else I wanted to?
Well, I just wanted to say, with the stars searching, somebody said, would you trade Brunson for Giannis? My thing is, when do we draw the line in the sand? We want to get the star player here, but we also, too, we already have guys here that they can play. When do we make a decision that, okay, these are our guys, and we're gonna not necessarily build around them, but they're just gonna be here for the ride, Instead of just oh, Giannis is here, trade the whole roster for Giannis. Now we got Giannis there butt naked, on the court with nobody else to play with. Now we have to go find the point guard again. It's I don't know. I think we just have to make a stand at some point.
I was about to say, I would think I would personally, if it was me, I would get the star here first and build around the star instead of waiting for the, I don't know
for these guys to turn into something that they're not.
Right. Exactly. I wouldn't even know what I'm waiting for.
Right.
To be honest. So I would rather get, it doesn't have to be Giannis, but I would rather get the star first, and then I would hope that my team is good enough to fit a team around the star than the other way around.
The front office, you mean?
Yeah.
That's another Melo situation, right?
Right. Exactly.
We got Melo, and then we waiting for them to build a roster, and they never do.
Right. So you can be good enough to bring the one star here, but if you suck at everything else, then it's going to fall through. But you just have to hope that you don't suck at everything else. You should still be able to build the team. You can't just be like the broker to get the star here.
Right. And I would say that the Knicks have a lot of assets. I don't think we would have to give up our entire rotation and all of our draft picks to bring in a star. I still think we would have something left, but we would be weaker. Listen, if you're trading for a star, you are going to be weaker. You're going to trust your front office, Jarrell just said, to fill in the holes. You're going to be a bit more top heavy, and you just trust that your front office will be able to find a Grimes, a 3-and-D guy that maybe can do what Grimes does, but doesn't have the ceiling Grimes does. So that's all you're going to get, 3-and-D with no hope of improvement, right? That's just who that guy is that you can plug in, or that you can get somebody like Quickly who could, run your second unit and, and score. He may not have the ceiling of a Quickly, but he can do Quickly things at this level for now. I mean, that's what Phoenix is doing. Top heavy team. That's what the Lakers are doing. Top heavy team. Though the Lakers have been able to find some really good, I don't know what kind of magic they're working over there with their salary cap, but they've been able to find some really good players on the cheap that relatively that fill out their roster.
They're doing some new math over there in LA.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there.
You got to remember, Westbrook was making like $51 million a year or something ridiculous like that, and so when they got rid of that you can bring back a lot of players for for that. That's mostly what they did to carve out those those players that they got, like Vanderbilt and all those other guys.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're still working with the same salary cap as everyone else.
Right.
I don't know, but the point is, other teams have done it, and the Knicks have to figure out a way.
I think the Knicks are actually thinking that, and you've said this before, that maybe DiVincenzo isn't Quickly, but maybe he's a Quickly fill-in or a Quickly replacement, so to speak. And I think
That's
Josh
that's
Hart
right.
is a similar type of player. So maybe the front office is kind of already anticipating and doing that, because if you think about it, if those two are able to fill those roles adequately, all of a sudden quickly and Grimes and Barrett are eminently more tradable, because you're like, okay, we have these two guys here and we're going to be bringing in a starter, a prime superstar level starter at one of our spots. And so we've got these other two guys who we're confident in. We feel like they can do the job, maybe not as well as these other guys, but they're good players, and we know that we can depend upon them, and we know that they fit in with Jalen Brunson. I don't think Jalen Brunson is going anywhere. I mean, as much as this organization is about family and connections, and that those things are things that they value, I would be surprised if he, Hart, and DiVincheco weren't on the roster for the next 2 to 3 years at a minimum.
Yeah. I always said that I think that Dante is IQ's replacement. I don't think IQ is going to be here much longer. I think he's going to want to start. Like, I don't think Tibbs is going to play him at the 2, and IQ is not going to want to just be on that bench just because he loves the Knicks. He wants to start and actually jumpstart his career in the NBA. Like, he's not going to want to be here. It has nothing to do with the city or the team. He wants to play.
There's no knock to us and no knock to him either. He has to look for his career. And also too, like, if we trade like that may give me a tingle too, man. You tingling me today. Add IQ and Grimes and RJ to the mix. You can get a good player. Everybody will be so sad. Oh my God, RJ Barrett, he's so young. But then if we make another trade, everybody's gonna go, oh. Because we already have Dante DiVincenzo replacing what IQ is giving us.
Right.
We got Josh Hart already replacing Grimes, and we got Fournier still on the roster.
Right. That's why I'm thinking we can do something and still have some pieces left.
Yeah, make it work.
To me, that was the only reason Dante made sense. The fact that we signed Dante DiVincenzo, it really doesn't. If he's not the replacement, and we're really going to have all these guards. For the long term, it doesn't really make sense to me why they would do that team building wise, unless we, like I said, like our front office don't know how to team building.
Right. Yeah.
Ajay. Salute Ajay.
Salute. Ajay's out of town. So I want to, and then we can pick up the conversation afterwards, but I'm trying to do. Okay, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on YouTube, and this is years down the line. So what I'm trying to do is I'm really trying to find my tribe. I'm really trying to find the people that jive with me, that are really interested in what I have to say. And I see myself as time goes on, just really creating content for my Patreons. Like I'll do the Just Nick in It weekly show. I'll do Queen's Court on Sims Nothing But Nick channel. But I see myself, other than that, creating content for my Patreons. So if those who don't know what a Patreon is, these are people who support your favorite content creators by making a donation every month. For me, and I'll put the slide up in a bit, is $3, $5, and then you get content. You get content, and the way I'm going to do it is going to come straight to your mailbox. So when you want to hear what I'm doing, you don't have to, I heard Steph was on YouTube. I heard she was on Freezy's show. Let me look for that. Or I woke up late. I missed the morning show. Let me go look for that. If you're a Patreon, that is coming in a newsletter straight to your inbox. So when you wake up, the morning show link is going to be in that newsletter. Also, I'm doing a podcast after every Knick show, really short. After every Knick game, it's going to be like a 20-minute podcast, and it's going to be unscripted. Right? When you watch the morning show, it's scripted. I got my Notion app open, and I'm writing, my bullet points and what I want to say. I got all of the slides and what have you. But when I do that 20-minute audio podcast, that's just off the dome, just what I saw from the game, unscripted. That's more me. You got to tone it down a little bit for you. Well, I choose to tone it down a little bit for YouTube, but the podcast, so it's going to have a different vibe. It'll be the same game, and you choose if you're into the visuals and the chat, and that's going to be every night, day after the Knicks play, 9-ish. You can watch that, but the podcast also, audio podcast, wherever you get your streaming, wherever you stream. However, if you're a Patreon, that is coming straight to your box. Open your email. You don't have to try to get up early unless you want to be part of the show. That's coming to you. So let me just pull up the slide so we can get more actually in detail. I think this is it. Yes. Okay. So there are multiple ways to support the channel, and there are free ways to support the channel. And that's important as well. The free ways to support the channel are very important as well. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. The Patreon link, I should have, and I will after this, I'll pin it to the top of the description. So what I'm trying to do is not be all over the place. What I'm trying to do, the Just Nick and the Weekly Show, the Queen's Court, and then everything else, I just want to create content for my Patreons. That's my focus. So the link is in the description, but I'll put it in the chat as well. $3 a month, $3 a month, not $3 a day, not $3 a week, $3 a month. That's a donation for the content that's already provided on my YouTube channel and the audio podcast, right? I'll also acknowledge you during videos, live shows, and podcasts. Your name will be there at the end of videos. During live shows, it'll scroll across the bottom. The newsletter, it'll be in there. So the $3 a month is just you supporting the channel for the things that's already happening. Okay? The $5 a month, again, not $5 a day, not $5 a week, $5 a month, right? This is who I'm creating the content for. So you're going to get the morning recap show and the unscripted post-game podcast link directly to your email the day after the Knicks games. You're going to get Patreon-only videos, live shows, and podcasts. So the show I do with Freezy, I'm going to stop doing that show because it's just too much to do during the season with Queen's Court starting back up October 2nd. So I'm going to stop that. However, I'm thinking about continuing it only for my Patreons. So that's in the works. But the video that I want to do comparing RJ Barrett with OG Anunoby, some people don't want OG Anunoby. They don't think he's any good. They don't think he's going to make our team any better. I want to do a video, comparing RJ Barrett and OG Anunoby. That's one, but there are others, right? Live shows, podcasts. This is Patreon only. You're going to get the newsletter. In the newsletter is going to have all of the links for the Patreon only videos. You don't have to go looking for it. It's going to come straight to you. If there are some videos that I am going to post on YouTube, if you're a Patreon, you're going to get to see it first. And then a few days later, I'll post it on YouTube. Patreon only newsletter content. Now, I'm going back and forth between, with my newsletter, do I want to make part of it free and then have another part of it just for Patreons, or make it totally just for Patreons? Okay, so I'm going to think about that. The Just Nick and It Weekly Show will remain free content. The audio podcast that I do, advertisers pay for that content. So the number one way, free way, you can support the channel is to download the audio podcast on your favorite streaming platform. You make money based on how many downloads you get. During the season, there's going to be 3 to 5 podcasts per week, short, 20 to 30 minutes. I need 1,000 downloads to become monetized. So I'm going to do a download drive in November because the season starts late October. I'm going to do a download drive in November. A free way to support the channel is to download those audio podcasts so that the advertisers can pay me and you don't have to pay me. Another way to free ways to support the channel, like the video, super important. If you're part of the replay gang, leaving a comment on the bottom, that's another way to support the channel. Share it on your social media platform, and it doesn't even have to be, oh, they talked about so-and-so today. It could be, what the hell were they talking about? Today they was talking about trading Brunson for Giannis or LaMelo Ball, and just put, you could put the whole thing, but you can also put a clip. You got to be a little more technical savvy, I guess, to put the actual clip. But sharing on your streaming podcast, that helps the channel grow. And then, of course, for those who do super chats, one super chat a month is like the $3 level. You know what I mean? So the point is, do what you can to support the channel, whether it's free or paid. But I'm really trying to get to a point where I'm creating more paid content than free content. And at some point, the morning show will be Patreon only. But I got to get a certain amount of Patreons before I do that. I will let you know. But at some point, because that's a labor-intensive show. To put out. So at some point that show will be Patreon only. But for right now, we'll be back. I think October 10th, I'll be back with the morning, with the morning show, and it's free for now. Okay. Any questions, put it in the chat and I will and I'll answer the question. You can also email me with any questions. The Patreon link is below, but I am going to pin it to the chat as soon as I get out of here. All right. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. That's all I have as far as that's concerned. But any more thoughts on what we discussed? I hope I didn't throw things off, but I wanted to get that in there before the show ended. Any thoughts on anything else we discussed today?
Did y'all talk about Randle leaving CAA?
Yeah, first. Yeah. Like that was the first thing we talked about. You had any thoughts on it, Jeff?
I don't think it's that big a deal, but I mean, he is my understanding is that the guy who was his first agent is the guy who's in this company here. So I kind of feel like he's doing him a solid, but I also kind of feel like it may signal that, maybe Randle's not the Knicks guy long term. I don't think it'll have any effect on the current situation, but over the next year or two, I might not be surprised if they end up going in a different direction, when his contract is up, because we are CAA affiliated, let's just say.
Yeah, go ahead. Jarrell, you was gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say I think like 100% pretty much agree with Jeff. Like I think we, in the business of relationship rostering, I already say that. So like I said earlier in the show, it's not alarming, but it's something to look at though.
Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, I didn't know that. So thank you guys that basically his agent left CAA. And so he just left, he just left with his agent. So that's not as, as alarming as, I was like, oh, he's leaving, letting them know when it's time for my max contract, there will be no discounts. Don't even think about it.
Right.
But and they're pretty close because he talked about it in the podcast P. He talked about his agent and that, that's his guy. So, he's gonna leave with him. I think the other question is, why did the guy leave? Why did the guy leave?
Right. And we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Anything else?
Just a couple more things. Giants fans, make sure you're checking out Die Hard Giants with Jarrell tomorrow night. He does a great job over there, and always great content. He really knows his stuff, and you never know. He went on the air last time, and then they came back from 24 points down. So you need to be checking it out now. So right? I mean,
that might have been the Eru effect.
You get the credit for that, Jarrell, right?
Right.
Eru, I don't know what you got going on right now, but if you haven't listened to him, you need to be, because he knows his stuff too, and he's awesome. And we just really appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with us, and bringing your opinions here to with the Queen. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, man, good to be on the panel with you too, man. Good group of people on here. But I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I got too much things going on, so that's why you haven't really seen me post anything too much, on my own channel. But once that gets out, once the big thing gets out the way, then I'll be able to calm down and settle back into what I normally do.
Nice.
Thank you for saying that, Jeff. Salute to everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Always a dope show. Die Hard Giants tomorrow, halftime. We play the 49ers. It's going to be a tough game. But, it is what it is. I actually put out a video earlier. Every Wednesday, I'm putting out a video for the look ahead. I was going to go live every Wednesday, but I kind of figured, just like everybody else, it's a time thing. Like, it's real easy for me to just do the video by myself and push it out. It only takes 20 minutes. Because I'm the type of person, just like Steph, like all my stuff is unscripted. So I do all the graphics, but when I hit live, I don't know what I'm going to say at all. So
really,
I don't do this. I don't do scripted stuff.
Yeah, me neither.
But I didn't see this one. I'll see it, probably in the morning. I'll take a listen. But the first one, you couldn't tell.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
Yeah.
And just because of that, instead of me doing the lives, because I know if we all get together on the lives, they're gonna, not saying that this show is too long or whatever, but a lot of times I don't have time for like a 2-hour show every night. You know what I'm saying? So when I hit live on the shows that I'm doing, like it was 20 minutes last week, it was 20 minutes this week. You know what I mean? I could just get it in and out. You get all the knowledge of what is going on with the next game. Get people out of here in a hurry.
Yeah. And I was looking at the Knicks schedule. We'll stay on Thursdays till January. And then January, I believe we're moving to Wednesdays.
Right.
Because I think they only have 5 games for the rest of the season on Wednesdays after January 1st. And they're going to have a lot of games on Thursday. Right. And Monday, it's just the schedule is all over the place this year as opposed to last year. Right. So so that'll be cool.
Nice.
Anything else?
I'm
Queen's
good.
Court back October 2nd.
Can't wait.
Looking forward to that. Jeff will be part of the panel over there as well. Mondays, 8:30, except for the first show because the Giants play October 2nd, so we'll be going early. Then Die Hard, you're coming back with your watch-alongs once the season starts.
Yeah, absolutely. From preseason, I'll probably be doing every preseason. Depending if I have like to work or something like that. Early games are tough. But if it's prime time, I'm definitely gonna be in front of this computer. Going, yapping away for 2-3 hours.
Right, man. Eru's the man, yo. Obviously big up to Eru. My diehard Giants channel is pretty much, a little brother channel to diehard Knicks. And I got that idea from halftime to the end of the game from Eru. Like, he's a monster.
Right.
Like last year, he was damn near pretty much all 82 games, like halftime
Crazy.
to crunch time. Like that's crazy. That's work ethic. Like, he's a real diehard Knicks fan.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Like, that's not easy doing a show for 82. Like, that's
Mm-mm.
nuts. Like,
with nothing to drink. Sometimes I forget to bring something to drink. I'm just going crazy with it, like dehydrated. I come out of here, my feet are swole up, my ass is hurting. It's crazy, man.
like Eru got an attitude damn near every game, no matter whether we win or losing. Like, that's what that's what the show does to you. Like, you gotta click the camera on, flip the lights on. You just gotta be on all the time and watch the game at the same time with all the emotions going up and down. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's why I like to come on Steph's show when I can, because it's a different vibe. So I'm
Right.
just relaxed and chilling.
Right,
Steph
right,
is the orchestrator, and when she calls on me, I give my little comments.
Right.
But on my show, it's a little different. It's a little different on my show. I take it up a notch.
Right.
It's good.
But you know what? You're my alter ego. When you in there in your bag, I'm
I
like,
tell
good.
them
That's
all
the
the
same
time.
shit I wanted to say. I'm glad
Yep.
Ebro was saying.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, Eru is a superpower. I told you I did the video right with 20 minutes talk about football. Eru's show is by himself from
Right.
halftime to the damn game is over. That's like an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes. Like, that is a superpower. That is not normal. People do
Right.
not do
Right.
live shows by themselves like
Right. For that long. Yeah. No
For
doubt,
that
no doubt
long.
about it. Yeah.
By themselves. No. Like, don't get me wrong. He'll have a guest if he wants to bring somebody on, but for the most part, it's him because it's his show. Like, he likes it that way,
Right.
Yeah.
which is a little crazy, but I respect it.
Right. Yeah. You can't even get on the show. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing.
Nah. Right. He's not gonna put you up there.
I'm working,
just playing.
just like Steph. Steph has her new plan and stuff like that. I'm trying to work out a plan too to make it work a little bit better. But people seem to like the craziness. Eru's on, and then people pop in after a little while and listen to what craziness I got to say.
You know what I found, Eru? Be yourself, and people who jive with you are going to jive you. You can't be everything for everybody.
Right.
You just can't. There's some people that don't mess with me, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? So it's just like trying to find my tribe. Those are the people that jive with me, want to hear what I got to say. And it's the same thing with you, because we're all talking about the same topics,
Right.
but
Right.
they want to hear it the way you say it. They want to hear what you have to say and how you say it.
Right.
Yeah.
Every
You
game,
know?
I don't even turn on, like, when it's halftime with the Knicks are playing. I don't turn
Mhm.
on the regular broadcast. I watch the game and have Eru,
There
in the
you
background.
go. There you go.
Like, I
That's how
listen
you
to
do it.
him the whole game. Like, I
Yeah.
don't listen to the audio for the game at all, hardly.
Yeah.
The audio for the game is terrible anyway. Eru's going to be much more entertaining.
Right.
Mhm.
One thing we got to remember too is, like, there's especially when I first started this, I ran into a lot of people that were having just problems in life and stuff. So they're looking for something to listen to, just to, they love the
Right.
Knicks. They just looking for something to connect to. You know what I'm saying? So we it's not really important, but then it is important. We're giving a service here, so. It's not
Right.
easy. It's not easy being consistent. It's not easy spending. Like, he was with his mom earlier. It's not easy to devote time to this. But we do it. We love to do it. So, and we
Yeah.
appreciate everybody's support and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of hours, but it is fun. Because I was sitting there saying, maybe you should cut out the morning show, period. Just cut it out. But I'm like, oh no, after you're going back and forth with
Mhm.
yourself. I'm like, oh no, after the game, I can't, the energy from the chat in the morning time. I need that, you know?
The morning show is dope.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
love it. I love doing the morning show. You just get that energy, and I'm thinking one way, and then you get in there, and I'm like, oh, I never even thought about it, like
Right.
that. So I love it. But I just want to shout out Ron from Still Knick Fans. He has a show on the Nothing But Knicks, the NBA wrap up tomorrow. Let me tell you, they changed the name. It used
Dope
to be
show.
the NBA Report.
Yeah.
They changed the name, they changed the graphics. So now
Yep.
you get the NBA, they're going around the NBA, but then they got this rap hip hop theme going on with the colors, the whole vibe, the backgrounds. Awesome, awesome show.
I'll
Ron
be on the
and
show tomorrow. I'll be filling
okay.
in tomorrow.
Nice.
All right, Ebro.
You were making the rounds.
Ebro making
Yeah.
around.
I gotta get my feet wet back again, man, so I can start going crazy.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Salute to Ron. I be hating on still Knicks fan, man. They stuff be looking so good. I be like,
I
man,
know.
I need a damn producer. Like
That's what I'd be like. I'd be like, I need a
help.
producer. Anybody
need
out
help.
there need an internship? Anybody out there need an internship because you're in a graphic design program or something and you need to do your inbox me because I could definitely use that.
And I'm actually the type of person I actually think I'm pretty good with the graphics. It's just time consuming. It's not how difficult it is for me. I don't have time to do all that stuff sometimes. Like it's really, really time consuming. It takes forever sometimes. But yeah, Ron stuff looks awesome. Like it's a dope show. Really, really dope show.
Yeah. Paris, you're not on the S list. I just gave you props. I met Paris Duggar. Paris Duggar be making me tight, especially during the morning shows. Oh my God. But I met Paris Duggar at one of the MBK events. Just a really nice, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. Really nice guy. We was eating and chomping it up. So, the way you see guys or gals on YouTube or in the chat, that's just one part of who they are.
Right. None of this stuff is ever personal. Like, especially like people in the chat, you have to think about like we can't tell tone. We can't tell. Like it's just like when you texting somebody, but when you meet somebody in person, you have no animosity towards them at all. Like none of this stuff is personal. At least not for me. Like I don't.
Right.
It's not personal. Like it just is what it is.
I wanted Stafford Don got on Jeff. So let me put that up here.
For what do you say about Jeff?
All this giant love. Come on, give me a break, Jeff. Where you at? Rep.
Okay, so speaking of the Jets, salute to Tsunami. I think she will be back soon.
Yes, she's gonna be on our preseason show.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
She usually has she has her own Jets channel. I don't think she was making content, before, but I think she will be back soon. So definitely, support her channel when she comes back soon.
Tsunami, she's fantastic. Tsunami.
Right.
Yes,
Tsunami
she is.
Speaks. Her channel is called Tsunami Speaks. So, like when she does come back, definitely support it. Like she'll be our Jets representative for like content creation, I guess. Unless Jeff's going to bring out his own show because he knows football.
I'm still got Zach Wilson stress disorder. I can't.
I get that. I totally get that. Yes, I totally get that.
Like I just can't right now. I'm just like I just can't.
Can you even imagine?
He's going to throw 4 interceptions against the Patriots this weekend again, and I'm like,
hold up though, Jeff. Can you even imagine if you were doing a live show during that first game?
Right.
When Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Yeah, that would not have been good.
Can you even imagine being in front of a camera, in front of like hundreds of people when that happened?
He would have turned the E-roll. The headphones would have said,
right,
all kind of stuff.
Right.
I get excommunicated from my church. They'd be like, who's this guy?
I would have ended the show after 4 plays. I would have ended the show. I'd be like, hey,
wow,
I'll check y'all out next week. Our starting quarterback just got hurt after 4 plays. The starting quarterback that we've been ranting and raving about for months now, all off season, only played 4 plays and is out for the year after 4 plays. He didn't twist the ankle, like he's done. After 4 plays of the season.
And that's what's taking your team to the next level. It's like we get Giannis and then he's out for the season. Like, oh my God.
Imagine if we get Giannis, we have championship aspirations. And in the first game, like after 5 minutes, he like tears an ACL. No, knock on wood. Like that's what do you do as like a fan if you're in front of the camera during that time? Content creating. Like what do you? I have nothing at that point. Like I'm out. Like I'll holler at y'all next week, man. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm not continuing that show. Like you could have me crying up there. No. No.
We barely dragged on at 26-0 when we was playing Dallas. I'm like,
and that's at halftime.
I'm not even putting on this Saquon Barkley jersey. 26-0.
Right, and I'm
coming in a wife beater. That's it. That's all I got.
I had to know to click live. I almost was like, hey, yo, y'all, I might not do it this week. But then I feel like a sucker. Like, no, I have to do it. We down 26. I got to face the music. Now I'm saying it is what it is. But imagine if we would have started in the beginning of the game, like as that stuff was happening. Like you didn't see my face during that 26 points.
Right.
Like I was a madman over here. Like I was cursing, throwing stuff. I was pissed. But it is what it is. You got to get through it.
Yeah.
Well, Steffa, you put on a show, a Jets show. I'll be repping that all day long, Bob. Come on, Steffa, you can do it.
Steffa could definitely do a show.
Yeah,
man.
He could definitely do a show. Yeah, you could do it on your own channel, or you could do it on this channel. This is Dope Soul Sports Talk. It's not, just Knicks talk. So you could do your own channel, Staffer, if you want. You could do it here.
Nice.
Yeah, but I just Zach Wilson.
It's tough, man. I know you still. He backed to Zach Wilson.
I mean,
yeah, I know it's tough.
I didn't even keep up. Did you guys lost to Dallas? I didn't even. Keep up with
we got thumped.
It was 30-10 to our 40-0 step. So Dallas is rolling. Yes.
Wow.
Unfortunately. Ugh.
Yeah.
Man, end the show. I don't want to talk about football.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Because we barely made it out of Arizona.
I don't want to talk about football right now. And we play the 49ers tomorrow. Yeah. I need to go to sleep. Like I'm gonna be.
All right. Until next time, Jarrell, I appreciate you showing up every week. E-Rule. Love it. Sir. Anytime you can make it,
please.
Definitely, come on. Jeff,
sir.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining, me on the Queen's Court. Staffer, Jay Boogie, who I spoke to, he's doing well. He missed the past few shows, but he's doing well. Tsunami, who will be here for when we do our preseason show, and everybody in the chat that shows up every week, and the replay gang. You guys have been really, really consistent. I'm going to get to those comments. That's on my list of things to do. I'm not that behind, though. I've been keeping up. I'm probably like maybe a show or two behind, not 10. But I appreciate you guys. They have good comments. Some of them be like this thick, so they really be into it.
Yeah, don't be paying AJ no mind either.
What the AJ be in
AJ
there
always AJ be in there. He be on the show and in the chat.
He be in there. Because they be getting on him too.
Yep.
Some of the comments they don't know what he's talking about. What is he saying?
AJ, like, I feel what I feel. I don't care.
And some of them will have the little clip. They'll have the little the link to the specific part of the video that they're commenting on. I'm like, wow. And then you click it and you can say, oh, okay, this is what they're talking about. Yeah, some are really savvy.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Really yeah. Anyway, until next time, which will be next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday. Appreciate you.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you shine. Don't
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
What?